Things live on this end. Actually typing in according to hip hop. How you doing, Coop? It's been a busy Friday, man. Bell to bell. Coop hit me up at like 7 a.m. I was up too, man. I was getting ready for a meeting that I had, so I didn't respond as promptly as I should have, but
I was up to about 2:30 listening to music, and I just couldn't listen with a clear ear anymore, and had to put it down. And fatherhood still goes on around these parts, so I'm always up about 6:45, 7.
I can't listen to music at midnight, man. I've tried. I'm
Really?
the type of person that, man, when I go to those midnight movie premieres, I fall asleep.
Really?
Yeah. So it's really really tough for me to take in, especially the volume of music that we were taking in the day at midnight. So I just went to bed early, and got up early. Shout out to everybody coming in the room. What up? What up? Put the thumbs up so we can get more and more people in the chat, man. We got hella music to talk about today.
Well, it's funny.
Cool, be there?
Yeah, can't you see me? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah,
Can
yeah. I
you
see you in here. You paused for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
The way some of my process works is that the human mind, you go through different neurological phases during day and night that affect the way that you process information. And so part of why I listen at midnight is because what I hear at, midnight to 3 a.m. is not the same thing that I'm going to hear from 9 to 12, from 12 to 5. Right. It's the mentality and where you are with your grind and stuff. And so that's why I usually like to listen to something 2 to 3 times. It's not necessarily how many times, it's the mode and the mood, And so if I can listen to it at midnight and be like, man, whew. And then I listen to it again in the morning, I'm like, oh my God. And then it's like the afternoon and I'm like, whoo, pray for Paris, Alfredo.
I got hella notes too, by the way. It's been a long day. Yes, those are the ones that hit you at midnight and have you stuck. Yeah. Shout out to Ant Learn for the super chat. He says, I was just about to exit out of YouTube until I seen the notification. Let me grab my popcorn and enjoy the show. Yes, grab your popcorn. I got a lot to say. I know a lot of y'all was talking about that Black Slim Shady song. I got a whole page of notes on that. It's kind of come under mixed review. Coop and I haven't even talked about the record.
This is one of the few times where it's like we really didn't pregame much, so we really haven't gathered each other's thoughts that much at all.
No, not at all. 007, shout out to him. We're going to holler at you soon too, sir. He said a 4.5 out of 5. The Game album could have did without the Jigga Man samples. This had LAX/Jesus Peace vibes, and could have got away with chopping this album into 2 to 3 albums and have a sequel on one of those. I think you could have too. I don't have a problem with as many songs that's on it, man. You know what? We got so many people in the room already. I was going to start with the Megan, and maybe I could still start with the Megan album because she did drop an album today. Coop hadn't had the chance to listen to it, but again, I think that's going to be something that we could revisit on Monday, right? While we're able to play the music, and we're going to talk about that too. The Patreon was the decision to make, but we'll wait until more people get in the room to talk about that. But
talk about Megan right quick. I have to go get my iPad. I told you, I've literally, I just got here.
Go get your iPad, man. I'm gonna talk about this Megan real quick. But I do want you to be here for it too, because I want you to hear some of the stuff I got to say. So Megan dropped.
I'm listening.
Okay, Megan dropped Traumazine, the album, and the album features everything from Pooh Shiesty, Lotto, Key Glock. She got Lucky Day on there, Future, Janae Aqua, and you know what, Dua Lupe. It turned out, in my opinion, it was cool. I liked it. I think that she did a really good job. What do you guys think about this album? First of all, we got Mad Max in the building too. Mad Max says, so Mike and Coop. Meg dropped a very dope album. Black Thought did a great album. Should have been shorter. But he killed the White Royce. I refuse to call this guy by his name until he responds. Oh, man, yeah, we're going to get to that. Listen, this is what I want to say about the Megan. I know you haven't heard it, Coop. But
that's because of my process.
No, no, no. I understand the process, and it was a lot of music to take in. And I went to the game first, right? And then I went to the Megan, and off jump, I was like, yo, this sounds like, I don't want to say sounds like the Tina Snow Megan, but yeah, she's flowing on here. The flow is dope. The song structure is dope. The production is dope. She took on that, she was taking on some of those 3/6 type snares. You know what I mean? Like what she was doing on Tina Snow and what she was doing in that era, and she is spitting. I got to give it to Megan. I had to turn off my phone real quick. I don't want no disturbances. But yeah, I got to give it to Megan. Jay Short said that Megan missed her wave, though. I was going to say that. I was going to say that, you know, this is a better late than never, right? I think this is the album that should have came out when Good News and all of that buzz was going on. But I think she recognized, you know, what she was missing and needed to get back to the roots. And at least it didn't take her 2 or 3 more albums to do so. You know, she understood what blew her up, what got her to this point. And I think she got a lot of anthems on here. And what I'll say about that whole wave question, I think she has a lot of hit records on here. For her to be Megan, and it's Friday right now, a lot of these records are going to be in the strip club. I think strippers are finding their song from this album. I think this album is actually going to propel her back up. I really think, in my personal opinion, I know we was talking really big about Lotto earlier in the year. I think with this project, Megan is, to me, the #1 female rapper in mainstream hip hop right now. Like, she got the songs to back it, yeah.
So you like this more than Lotto's album, is what you're saying?
I do, because she's a better rapper than Lotto.
Okay, and what did we give Lotto? Didn't we give Lotto a 4 or 4.25?
Yeah, we did. I think so this is I mean, all 4.25s aren't the same, right? I think Lotto showed a lot of range. Megan showed some range on here too, but she also doubled down on what she did best. Now, one of the notes that I did have is she jumped on, well, I think it's like let me go to the track list real quick. Number 5, it's a song called Her. She kind of did what Beyonce did with the whole Lose My Soul or whatever, Break My Soul song, where she tried to go into that dance thing, and it was like, nah, come back. She came right back, but still, you could tell that record right there, they tried something, and hopefully that's not the record that they put out. But, I mean, I know the future records out there now, but the other thing I like about this album, she has a lot of really good songs that I think will work that are by herself. She's handling the hook. She's handling everything. 3 verses, boom, boom, boom. I'm telling you this, man. If she's on my record label and this is the album that's turned in, I'm really happy with this. I could sell this. Mad Max with the super chat says, this is her best project since Fever, Tina Snow. I agree. This really reminded me a lot of Fever. And I kept going back to Tina Snow, but you're right. This reminded me of Fever. It let me know that she was still in there. And one thing I will say about Megan, man, like, we got to realize, man, with her blow up, it happens so fast. And you know what I mean? That can really throw somebody off of their work ethic. That could do that to anybody. Because I remember posted a Megan freestyle on According to Hip Hop. This was before she really blew. And she reached out to us and was like, you know, we tagged the wrong page. She had multiple pages. She was like, yo, can you tag the right page or whatever? Like 6 months later, man, she's out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it happened very, very fast for her. And when it happens like that, I could see somebody kind of losing their balance on what, you know, they need to deliver to the fans. But I feel like she's kind of gathered herself back with this project. And I think it's a really impressive project. A-Train with the super chat says, the beat for La La Land is absolutely beautiful. Yes, it is.
It is.
The game threw a lot of people off today, too, man. I wish Megan didn't drop this album the same day the game dropped his album.
So, I haven't listened to Megan yet, but that's just because of having to take in a 1 2-hour album twice and one 1-hour album twice. But to this I will say, I'm happy that this album is what you say it is for Meg, because that kind of speaks to this prominence of female MCs that we've been talking about, that we're seeing, where it's like, well, they're not just like, you know what I mean? Like, they're running their own show, businesses, entities, making quality albums. That's why I was asking, well, you said it was better than Lotto's. And I'm like, man, we gave Lotto a pretty high rating. Shady Noir is a contender for album of the year. Like, this is a beautiful thing. So definitely going to give it a listen tonight when I get done with all of this.
I mean, she's rapping with some hunger too. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's taking it there with the flow. Now, obviously, you know, she has some songs where she takes on deeper subject matter, but a lot of it, like I said, is just her doubling down on what she does best. But she's spitting, and you can see that the hunger is there. Man with the super chat says, DRILLMATIC is super mid, B-level bar work. Try again. I completely disagree. I guess everybody's here for us to talk about that record, huh? Are you ready to move on from the Megan and start talking about this 2-hour 30-track record? I guess 31-track record.
I mean, it's now a fair time to talk about Monday and what we're about to start doing.
Go ahead.
We have 250 people in the room. So starting on Monday, Mike and I are officially going to be doing the third show of According to Hip Hop Live, except for it's going to be available on Patreon. It's going to be a $9.99 subscription service per month. It's 4 extra shows, live interaction from you all, and we actually get to play music and break down the bar work and literary devices.
Yeah, since everybody want to call it Midmatic, we're going to see how mid this is.
Right.
We're actually able to play it.
No, we can actually, some of these mock verses that we've done can actually, like occur the way that we've been wanting them to occur. So it's kind of opening up the game for us a little bit, tongue in cheek intended. So that's what's rolling on Monday. We're rolling out on Monday. We're going to shoot a little spot for it. I was actually thinking, Mike, we need to shoot a little something tomorrow, because you and I are actually going to be in the same space at the same time tomorrow, which happens like every 120 days.
Yeah, man, it's a busy world out here, man. Right. Everybody's talking about I'm getting ready to overhype this game album. All right.
Well, I mean,
let's get into it. I'm ready.
I'm surprised at some of your takes, to be honest with you, but really? Let's just go ahead and get in it.
Well, thumbs up in the chat, everybody, so we can get everybody in here, even the Stans and the Matthews, Ray Rim. The Stans and the Matthews, man. Ray Rim with the super chat says Cheat Code is album of the year over No Fear of Time. Is Danger Mouse more suited for Tariq than the Roots? DeCarlo with the super chat says these guys need their ears checked. That Game album got some heat, and that was the best Eminem diss I've ever heard. And I'm an M fan. DeCarlo is an M fan. Props to Game. You know what? Stop the show. DeCarlo saying that goes a long way. That goes a very long way. Shout out to you, DeCarlo, for keeping it real. Talk about it. KD with the super chat says A2HH tonight is going to be a motherfucking movie. Yeah, it is. Andrea Green with the super chat says I wish Violence would have made the final DRILLMATIC track list. It would have been one of the best on the album. The album had to offer, in my opinion. Violence didn't make it. And it's crazy you say that. I didn't even recognize that. Because you know what? I think in the beginning, I expected to hear Violence at the top. And when I didn't, I just got caught up in the album and didn't even think about it.
I think he went a whole nother way after he made that record.
I agree. LP with the super chat says it's a really good album, but it ain't anything over a 4. Too many throwaways. No cohesiveness. Okay. Feels like a mixtape and a money grab. Jay Short says y'all gonna eat off of these M stands tonight. We gonna see. All right, let me go to the track list here.
Very problematic.
All right, the Game finally dropped DRILLMATIC, and I say finally because we've been waiting on this album for, let's say, the past 4 or 5 months. But he didn't disappoint as far as like giving us our money's worth, for lack of a better term. We got 31 tracks, 30 songs all together. One of them is a Drake skit, which was funny as well.
That's funny.
Album starts off. Actually, I don't even want to go through all the features because it's a lot. But What was your reaction to listening to this album for the first time? I guess I could just start there.
It's a dope album. I really enjoyed it for the most part. I think outside of the box. So, the business mind in me was just like, man, you gonna pay for all these samples? It's like, you gonna pay for all these?
I've always felt like that ever since documentary 2 and 2.5.
Get Rich or Die Trying numbers. This seemed to do Get Rich or Die Trying numbers for how many samples he just took. So that's one of the places that I went with it, where I was like, oh man, like it's not just that he sampled, it's the samples that he took. And then on a level, well, he took some very popular samples, but he also took some like hip hop head samples, like.
But he did that on 2 and 2.5 as well. That was
Correct.
The first time I questioned that. Like, what? First of all, Game loves this shit, right? He loves hip hop, and that's the one thing I took away from this. Once again, I admire the fact that he loves hip hop this much. Where, like you said, he'll go out there and work with whoever, pick these expensive samples, clearly, work with expensive producers, and rap his ass off. This is for love, man. Because like you said, ain't no units really being sold like that, quote unquote. He doesn't care. He wants to make a great album. But go ahead. I interrupted you.
No. You're fine. Those are all good assertions. So even with all that being said, what I really hear at the end of the day is, let me frame that differently. How many all-time great rap albums, or how many rap albums are great, have more than 17 songs on them? And tell me how many albums like that have more than 17 great songs on them. You feel what I'm saying?
Like solo albums or just in general?
That's what I'm saying. What really, really happens is that when you make an album of this length, or even a double disc, if you were to parse it into 2 of this length, it's just hard for it, to feel cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's one thing. Because of the emphasis on the drill side, it does feel mixtape-ish a little bit at times. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really long. He's obviously creatively like expressing in a certain lane, which is apropos for the title. But mostly it's just because it's hard for any artist to make an album with that many songs and really have most of the songs be great. Like, even for your greatest of artists, it's like, well, Sign of the Times and Songs in the Key of Life are outliers, not like the norm, even for artists of their caliber. You feel what I'm saying? And
well, you know why? You know why? I think that those 2 composers, writers, performers that you just mentioned, in Prince and Stevie, their versatility is through the roof. I think what we're kind of missing on this,
correct,
Game could possibly be one of the most versatile rappers that we've ever heard. Like, the fact that you can get on all these different type of styles with all these different type of people and all these different type of producers and mesh, that's not easy to do.
No,
I mean, because Burning Checks, I don't even really love that song because I'm not a big Fabio Foreign guy. Yeah, if this was on Fabio Foreign's album, this would have been one of the better songs on the album.
No, I was about to say it'd probably be one of the 2 or 3 best songs. Yeah.
Easy. But this isn't even one of the 15 best records on this album. It's not.
15, 16.
It's not. It's not.
No, you're right.
You got stuff like Outside, La La Land. Outside is crazy. Does anybody know where that sample came from? Because I'm trying to figure it out.
So you're making some very valid points. So a few things are going on. One, it's super sample heavy, and this is what I mean when it's super sample heavy, like to his good and to his detriment. Well, sometimes he really delivers, and sometimes it's just like, oh, that was okay. And what kind of kept you was the nostalgic feel in the sample. And that's not always a healthy thing when you want to have like an album of the year contender. Now, to his versatility, I'm right there with you. His versatility is going drastically understated. His emceeing skills and repertoire, or his ability to quote unquote get off in his bag, is going vastly underrated and understated.
It's insane.
His ability to work with a multitude of producers on multiple albums and produce a quality album or piece of work is going drastically underrated. But I really can't still give this more than a 4.25. And this is what I mean when I bring up it's just so hard to make like high level songs to get a high rating at this rate. You and I were talking about Life After Death briefly before we went on. How many songs are on Life After Death?
Off the top of my head, was it like 22, 23?
22 or 23, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mike, let's be honest, and that's Biggie, and that's Life After Death. Isn't there only about 17 great songs on there, though, or classic songs, the classic songs on there, if we're being honest?
Think I agree, but see, this is the thing, Coop. I think that when you have that number of songs, I'm not expecting 30 records to be great, right? I think this is what I did, and this is what I got in my notes. Game got up here and said that he had 30 songs, no skips. I went through and I only counted 2 skips, to be honest. Records that I would just say, you know what, I'm going to pass on. And the skips that I came up with were, I'm skipping, what was that, Voodoo. Didn't like that. I'm skipping Voodoo. And I think it was another one because I just wrote down like all the records that Nikki. I didn't really love Nikki Beach, but I wouldn't skip that. It's kind of a vibe, you know what I'm saying?
I like Nikki Beach.
Exactly. So yeah, and that's just me nitpicking here, because I'm looking at all the rest of these records like, okay, you got Easy. First of all, you got the first song or whatever, One Time, then you got Easy, Burning Checks. Like I said, that would have been a top record on the 5 Foreign album. Voodoo, I would skip.
Hold on, let's slow down. But let's slow down, Mike. This is what I mean. But let's like really audit these songs.
And we're gonna get to y'all super chats too. You know, y'all can keep doing that.
When you make an album of 30 songs, and most of the songs are just good and not great, what you have is a good album. Most of these songs aren't great that you're like going by. Where's the great song of the songs that you just named? Because for me, I think La La Land is clearly the first great song that you hear. The rest of them are just good before
I think
that.
Outside is great.
Okay, you want to know? I'm with you.
Outside is great.
I prefer like Outside too. So
I think Home Invasion is really good too.
But it's good, Mike. That's what I keep on telling you.
He's spitting on Home Invasion.
No. But listen, this is what I mean. Most of this album, to me, when I listen to it, this is just what I hear. I hear mostly really good songs with some great songs. And there's about 7 to 10 great songs and about 3 to 4 songs. And the rest of it is just good. That's a 4.25 when you track that out over a 30-track opus. And what I'm telling you is that if he just would have cut this down to 20, well, that means it probably would have been about, only 1 or 2 skips and, probably still about 7 or 8.
I still think it's 1 or 2.
Because there's some stuff on here where I'm just like, much like with Hitler Wears Hermes 8 last year, I'm like, oh, that's just some of the best rap music you're just going to find this year, like right there.
Well, see, this is the thing, Coop, and I usually agree with you on that. And I think what makes this very different is just the variety of individuals and sonics and sounds and positions that are on this record. So it feels like, for me, right, like the OPP record's not one of my favorites. But for the people who fuck with NBA Youngboy, they love this record. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that going on here. It's not like the West Side where it's like all of it's in a similar vein. So it's like the same audience going to that show and they're gonna pick out pretty much similar things. Game did something where it's like you got a bunch of different stuff. You got niggas who fuck with the Big Sean record. You got people who fuck with the Nikki Beach, and some people don't like that vibe. You got people that fuck with the Outside, but and even the 5 Foreign or even the Killer Cam record. So it's all so over the place, and even A$AP Rocky. And we're going to talk about A$AP Rocky because he looks really good today on both projects. But yeah, it's so all over the place that it's like a record that I might think is good for somebody else is great. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so different.
Yes. Okay. So that's
what makes his albums difficult. I first ran into this with the documentary 2 and 2.5. It's so difficult to place his stuff.
I don't feel like it's really difficult in the sense that, Mike, part of why we're here is to kind of give stuff a baseline. And it's like, if we're going off the baseline of a lot of the stuff we've done, it's like, well, This album is name drop heavy, feature heavy, sample heavy. When stuff is like that, Mike, you tend to say it has a lot of help. I don't hear you saying that today. There's a lot
I was
of great
gonna get to
producers
the
on here.
help.
Mike, every big producer in the game damn near is on this album.
I was gonna get to the help, and the thing is, the reason why I'm reluctant to get to the help is because I feel like some of the stronger records are the ones where he's by himself. And
Like, which
I
ones?
feel
Which
like
ones?
even on
Which
the
one?
I think Home Invasion's one of those records. I think that hold on, let's go to the records where he's by himself. A Father's Prayer is one of those records. Like when he's by himself, he's doing game shit. Even the Black Slim Shady. We're gonna get to that too. But and Heart versus Mind. Heart versus Mind, La La Land. Like this is him doing some of his best stuff when he's by himself. So it's it's not like the people are carrying him. You know what I mean? And I wanted to get to this record too while I'm thinking about it. The Bone Thugs and Harmony, Thuggish Ruggish Bone sample that he did. I think he would have been way better off if he did that record himself. It was a drop off when G Herbo came in and when Wayne came in.
Hold on. I totally disagree with you. When I hear that record, it's like, well, Wayne's the only one who really sounds good on that record.
Nah, I rocked with
I totally disagree with you on that record. You could have kept that.
Nah, I like that. The beat was crazy.
Nah, my family from Ohio. You could have kept that.
Oh, see, you got a personal connection there. Let me get to the super chat.
Personal connection. It's just like I know how people in like you got the when you do stuff. See, that's what I'm saying about like the taking and the sampling, because you're talking about, oh well, that might be the joint to somebody, but to other people too, that's like for them, like okay, like if you're from Cleveland or if you're from Northeast Ohio, like Bone's everything, and so it's like when you're taking like you can't just make it like another record on your album for them, you know what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you get a lot of help and you sample. It's like you set. It's just like going to Vegas, Mike. You set yourself up for a lot of success, but you set yourself up for a lot of failure as well. Overall, I feel like he did a good job, because here's the thing: I feel like there's more great songs than there are bad songs or songs that you should skip. But most of the songs are just good, so it's like a 4.25.
Let me get to the super chats.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's a great rating.
We got Andrew L. Green with the super chat. Says, I was kind of let down that Hit Boy only produced like 6 tracks. Hopefully, his intentions were on KD3. Yeah, I think I was happy about that, actually. Dumb It Down with the super chat says, M fans would like that diss because he copied him. Well, that was probably part of the point. We're going to get to that, too. Let me get to some of these other super chats. We got almost 500 people in the room. Yeah, tell them about the yearbook. It's pegged up at the top. You can get the digital yearbook. Ray Realms with the super chat says, if the game took the top 12 or so songs from DRILLMATIC, he had a classic on his hands. However, he was right about having no skips. But see that, I'm going to get to that too. Unknown Name with the super chat says, dope album. I can tell he's a true student of hip hop. Paid proper homage. Eminem diss was a weak track. I'm going to get to that too. Jay Short says, with each album, the game is a better as an MC. That's what I took away from it as well. DeCarlo says, how about those features from Cameron and Twista? Twista was a huge highlight. I want to get to that too. KD, Super Chat says, Wax said that the lack of cohesion is intentional. He said the game wanted to display versatility and make every song sound different. That's what I got from it too, and that's kind of where I was going to go in a second. Our man says Death Certificate had 20 songs, and the album is undeniable classic.
How many of those are skits, though? That's what I mean. It's rarely that there's a great rap album or a classic rap album with more than 17 classic or great songs on it. It's just how it goes.
It's a lot of skits.
Just how it goes.
LP with the super chat says, is versatility when you just biting flows? That's
very
a good question, too. Mad Max with the super chat says, there's 2 drill records, so the title is not accurate, but after he dissed the White Royce for 10 minutes, the next song featured Big Sean. I saw that, too. That had me laughing like petty. Correct. Unknown Name says, Twista spazzed on DRILLMATIC. Twista might be the MVP of the album. That was a moment. And Twista and Timbaland. Because Timbaland's on the second half of that track. Reggie says La La Land sample is in too deep. Back to the hotel. Miss LB with the super chat says, as a Cleveland native, I'm not sure how to feel about that Chrome Slugs and Harmony song. I feel that they're paying homage to Bone, but it didn't hit, in my opinion.
Told you it has a slap.
Listen,
when you take other people's stuff, when you
Coop,
take
I'm a bigger Bone fan than you.
But you are. But I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm telling you.
007 with the super chat says,
it's different.
30 is hard to do, but there's a lot of quality here. Cameron is on the album, was a nice surprise. The bangers here are dope, and Game is in his bag creatively. Jay Short with the super chat says, this is the curse of Life After Death. 25 years later, it changed how MCs approach mainstream albums. Not everyone can be as versatile as Big. I agree with that. Life After Death changed the way people made hip-hop albums forever. In the album era. Ethan Hill, I'm almost done with the super chats. I'm sorry, Coop. Hold that thought. Ethan Hill says, Montel Jordan says, I'll never come whack on an old school track. And he should apologize to Bone because Chrome Slugs and Harmony is really bad. Wow.
Trying to tell you.
Jevin June says, the Game's album definitely needed to be shorter, but he really showed his versatility. Solid project. Are we done? I think I skipped one. Indu Jam says, outside, how far I came, Heart versus Mine, Ruby's Rose are my favorite songs on the album. This album is solid. The Game has a great ear for nice beats. He does. He has a great ear for production. Reggie with the super chat says, some classic samples should be left alone. Okay. Go ahead, Coop. I'm sorry.
No, you missed one.
Did I?
Yeah.
Do you see it? Can you read it?
Yeah, it's Ohio K. It's another Ohio person. He should have got crazy, busy, and lazy on that track.
Now, I agree with that. 100%, and I would like to know what exactly transpired where that didn't take place. I agree.
No, I just be trying to tell you.
I agree with 100%.
It's like this. Like real talk, it's like if you're from let's say you're from Houston and you take, I don't know, Unbelievable by Biggie. It's like, you can't just take that and not do nothing with it because dudes in Brooklyn gonna be like, the dude in Houston took the.
Nah, I feel you.
They're gonna be like, nah, fam, you can't just take it and make it into something else. You gotta make it.
No, I agree with you, man. I agree with that 100%, man. I think
but this album is a lot of that, Mike. Okay. That's why it's just good because he's taking classic stuff. And he's not making a classic again. He's just making a good record out of it.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest.
The original stuff is the best stuff.
I didn't love exactly. I agree.
The original stuff is the best stuff on here.
I didn't love the change the game thing. I listened to it, but I didn't. But see, the first change the game is not all that to me. Now, did you hear the Nipsey record? Because
that's a banger.
It wasn't on streaming platforms, so
that's a banger.
Okay.
That's a banger. That would have been one of the 5 best songs on here, in my opinion.
Really? Okay.
Really? I love that record. I played that record back to back when you sent it to me. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Mike B says, y'all like Chrome or Celebrate as a Bone sample? I did like when they did Celebrate.
I didn't like Celebrate either. I thought that, you're talking about Jesus Piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the worst song on Jesus Piece.
But see, you're not that big of a Bone fan like that. Maybe that's part of it too. But I am a Bone fan, so when I heard it, I'm sitting there like,
that's not true. I had Creeping on a Come Up and East 1999 and The Art of War. I'm a fan of theirs. I may not be a bigger fan as you are. My cousin Six was the fan. See, you have to understand. I was at a certain age where it's in order to ride around with him, I was just going to listen to what he listened to. So it's am I the biggest 3-6 fan? No. But do I know all the 3-6 shit like you do? Well, yeah, because he is. Same thing with Bone. He was the Bone fan, the 3-6 fan. I was stuck with him. He's like, we're not playing no New York hip-hop today, nigga. Just so you know.
Because even on the Compton album, when Dre did that For the Love of Money over with Jill Scott, I loved it. Now, I thought that this song could have been much better. I think that the Game did his thing when he kind of took on Wish's flow with this. And we'll talk about that in a second because somebody in the Super Chats made a comment about, is taking different flows, versatility. Because I think that's a legit thing to say.
So my retort to that would be, well, weren't we all in awe when Biggie did it? with Notorious Thug, since we're still talking about Bone? Like,
well, this is what I'll say about what Biggie did on Notorious Thugs. I think he came up with the blueprint for what New York rappers were gonna do when they did their double time flow. Cause that flow that he used actually wasn't even Bone's flow. He kind of created a whole new sped up flow for the New York MC. Because it wasn't like he sounded like Crazy. It wasn't like he sounded like Busy or Lazy or anything like that. That On the Dangerous,
well, I mean,
Ain't Too Many Can Hang. Like, he came up with his own double time flow, and I'll give him that. But with Game, you could tell who he's kind of channeling whenever he does certain things.
Oh, that's fair. I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Correct. No, I do. No, I do. That's valid.
But I'll say this. I agree with you on the whole change the game. I didn't really love using that. I think that could have been.
I didn't love a lot of the sample usages because if you're going to use those songs, you got to make it slap. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not big on standing on Ferraris with Diddy because it's like, oh no, that's not half a kick in the door.
No, I got you. I didn't love that either. Because like you said, the thing is, when he does original stuff, it's great.
It's just fine.
Yeah.
That's why I love Jesus Piece so much, because Jesus Piece has a lot of original shit on there.
I'm giving him a lot of versatility points. I'm also giving him a lot of points on the fact that there were 30 records on here, and many of them were good records. And he's rhyming really well on here. But I do understand what you're saying as far as like cohesiveness and just rating it overall and balancing it out, because the originality part of it isn't super high because you're using records that have already worked. For like,
and I'm a money guy too. Like I don't think people understand. Like it's like I'm a money guy. I want everybody to eat, and so when he uses all the samples, it's like, oh no, is that like no, like because this is what I mean. He's a dope enough MC, lyricist, songwriter, song maker, album maker that he doesn't have to use these samples and these clearances.
Well, I think he wanted to. I think this is just the love of it, cool. Man. Like,
I just think that he's the caliber of artist that actually doesn't have to succeed. Like, he can use 3 or 4 or 5 like everybody else, or like have somebody like Havoc who knows how to really freak a sample as well as anybody. And just,
I mean, I think he wanted to show versatility because, again, even with the record with Meek Mill and Moneybagg Yo, he used Show Nuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's love.
If the goal was to show versatility and like high craft emceeing, use of literary devices, high level of lyricism, different use of flows, whether they be borrowed or not, and we can argue about that. Like if his goal was to kind of like show off, you know what I'm saying? Like if this was like an all-star game and he's like, I'm gonna show a little bit of everything that I can do, then like job well done. If it's an all-star game, but it's like the all-star games is not the playoffs, and like
I think that was the goal. I mean, because I get what you're saying, and this is usually how we rate albums. And I know you were saying I wasn't bringing up the help, but I don't think the goal here was to make 10 out of 10 records. Like, I think that if that were the goal, first of all, there's no way in the world you would choose 30 songs on an album. And I think that there's certain things you wouldn't even try. And we're gonna get to this when we get to the Thought in Danger Mouse, which I really like. But I you know me, man. I love when people take chances, and I think there were a lot of chances taken here. And
let me tell you what.
Go ahead, especially the Ruby's Rose. Like, I mean, who's putting that on the album?
No. I think Ruby's Rose is one of the highlights of this album too.
It is. It's a chance, though. Most people wouldn't even take that.
No. It's a total chance, and he is a risk taker, and that is the thing. Okay, so let me tell you something. And you know this. I used to live off the 15. I was just in Vegas last year.
Love Vegas. My favorite city in America. No disrespect.
My favorite city in America. My favorite city in America might be Sedona or San Diego, but
I love San Diego too.
Yeah. San Diego is it. Or Sedona if you just want, you know what I'm saying, like the vibe. But, the beautiful thing about Vegas is that you can walk in with a bag of money, and in about 15 or 20 minutes, you can double or triple that bag, or you can literally walk out empty-handed. And this album has some of that too, Mike. Like there's some songs, it's like the Pusha T and the Change joint. It's like, oh, that's like walking out with 3 bags of money after you just walked in with one.
I love that record. We got to talk about that record.
That's one of the 5 best records on there. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Pusha fan. Because to be honest with you, it's like I thought they were just as scene stealing as he was, and I thought Chainz was epic on there.
Chainz was the scene stealer, and I've always said that about Chainz.
Yeah.
Chainz's track record when it comes to working with Game is fucking crazy now.
Stellar. Ali Boumaier.
Really?
Ali Boumaier.
His verse on Really was crazy too. And this, like...
Ali Boumaier, and this is all he needs. That's all he needs.
No,
they can get together and do a record whenever they want. His verse on
Really was scene stealing. And you know what's so crazy? Because T.I. and Game rapped their ass off on that record. But Chainz don't have to do that. Chainz will swag you out of a record.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Old Dirty Bastard, ODB.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Style you out the song.
Like you can be rapping in all these syncopated forms. Like, oh, he got to come in there, and still the scene. It's amazing. He did that again, though.
I told you I've been listening to Chess Box, and it's like I'm just listening to ODB, like literally, like chant in the background. I'm like, that's the best part of the song.
It's a very rare instance where you can get an MC that could just swag you out of a record. I think we got Old Dirty, Snoop, and Chainz. I can't think of maybe Slick Rick too. But other than that,
Rick's probably the first. Slick Rick's the first, but he's a lyricist and a storyteller too.
Yeah. But even if Slick Rick don't even have to do too much, like you remember what he did on Art of Storytelling with Cass. He didn't have to do everything that Dre did on there.
Doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. He can swag you out of a record. It's crazy.
Got the voice. Got the delivery.
Yeah.
It's got the cadence. You know
what I mean?
Let
me get to the super chat real quick, and I'm gonna let you finish your thought. Mr. Mark with the super chat says, way too many features, way too many copied flows and voices that didn't land. That diss track was mid. This is just the game swagger jacking for 2 hours. Whew. You got, man. DeCarlo with the super chat says, the game gave us what a black Eminem sounds like, and that's why it's epic. Also, he tore him up. Real talk. M needs to respond and stop the cap, and I'm an M fan. I am so surprised at DeCarlo's take. DeCarlo, you are...
too. What are you doing?
DeCarlo has totally legitimized the fact that I thought that maybe I was bugging, but I guess I'm not. I can't wait till we start talking about that record, by the way. Jay Short says, for y'all complaining about the samples, you would have hated hip-hop in the 80s and the early 90s. His execution wasn't there, but I don't have a problem with him using them. A-Train with the super chat says, I haven't heard y'all talk about Start From Scratch to a classic. Let's see, I think we got a little bit more. PTV with the super chat says, it's a lot of mid on there because the album is way too long. No replay value. I disagree with the replay value.
Disagree with that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of replay value on here. Maybe not all 30. But LP says, objectively, this is in the bottom of his catalog. We can have that conversation too. And Royal Holmes says, Terminator, the Locks outshine the day for me. New Locks single. I love that too. I've always loved that track. Dumb It Down says, how is it a risk if you copy his songs that were hits? I guess I'm talking more so about Ruby Rose when I say taking risks.
Okay, this is what I mean. So it's like this, he plays it safe sometimes because he goes and takes classic samples and he makes good songs out of them. But they're not as great or as classic as the songs that he's taken from. And when he takes his chances or when he just does game shit is actually when he succeeds the most.
Yeah. LP says risk.
So look, Mike,
go ahead.
Let me just say this right quick.
No,
why spend the money? Why spend the money when you can just do game shit? Like, think about this. It's like
he doesn't care about the money. We saw from documentary 2 at 2.5. He don't care.
My two favorite tracks on Jesus Piece are Name Me King and Ali Boumaier. And so it's like when I saw Chainz and Pusha on the track, I'm like, oh, that's great. And then he does that, and I'm like, well, you don't gotta take a Jay-Z sample at that point when you can do shit like that, and when you can call guys in to like kind of help you like that too. Like when you got that kind of help. When you got these kind of bars and you got this kind of versatility and you can do these types of things. I told you on every Game album, there is a record, Solo Rise, where he just spazzes the fuck out. It's on every Game album.
Every Game album. And you know what? You're talking to somebody who initially, when the documentary came out,
I'm a bigger Game fan
I wasn't a
than
Game
you
fan at
are,
all.
Mike.
Oh yeah, you are.
I'm a way bigger Game fan than you are.
You are.
Like way bigger.
You know, I have grown. I don't want to say grown into a Game fan. His constant improvement, like Jay Short said, he gets better at every album, and that part of it is. First of all, I got hella respect for that. Number one, and number two, I've become a fan just because he's become better. He even said it on this album that he couldn't rap on the first album, and I'm like, great, I wasn't bugging.
Oh God, the way he's rapped the last 5 years, he could not rap. He could. How about? So you want to know why? How about this? You want to know why I like Scream on him so much?
Why is that?
Because he's rapping over a type of track that is really more centered for an East Coast hardcore artist like a MOP or a DMX. It's a hardcore Swiss Beast track. He's a West Coast artist. Like on his first album, he does not sound as versatile as you would like somebody of his notoriety to sound. Lyrically, he is not as precise. On that record, that was the first solo record that he made where I saw him flash as a real artist, MC, lyricist. I'm like, no. Like he murdered that shit. He murdered it by himself and he murdered it his way. Exactly. Like the way he does shit. In every song since Scream on him, he makes a record like that. House of Pain on LAX. Like he gives you one where it's like he's just like, no, I'm just gonna.
Well, this is where my passes come in at, and sort of piggybacking on what you're saying, right? I give Game a pass for, and they're talking about him stealing flows and this and that and copying flows and all that. We've heard Game be Game. I think a lot of the stuff that he does, he's paying homage as a fan. Like, you don't become this versatile without being a fan of everything that hip hop encompasses. It's kind of like when Jay-Z takes Biggie lines and people be like, "Oh man, you can't rap without." We know Jay can rap without using Biggie lines. You know what I'm saying? Like we've heard it a million times over. He doesn't need Biggie lines. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't need Biggie lines to make dope records. Just like Game doesn't have to do this. He's doing that to pay homage because we've heard him without that. Like stuff like Bigger Than Me, he doesn't sound like anybody. He sounds like Game.
Hold on, go ahead. I'm sorry. You do understand that the reason that people had a problem, I mean, at least for me, my issue with him taking Biggie's lines was like, well, Jay don't have to do that. Jay is like literally one of the few guys that doesn't need to take like anything from Big, like just inspirational style. Like what's in your bag is already enough. So what say you to that? Like left side of the brain train of thought about it.
I think it's paying homage, man. To be real.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, and I think especially with the Jay argument, no one ever talks about how many people have taken his rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Like ridiculous. Countless amounts of people. More people have taken Jay lines than he's ever taken a Big.
How about this? It's not at a Slick Rick or Snoop level, but it's getting close.
Yeah, that chain reaction has been recycled and repurposed.
God, if one more person recycles that, and you want to know how weak a bar that is, like for his standard, like for his standard, like Mike, you and I know his stuff backwards and forwards. That's not even like one of his best 50 punchlines.
Right. LP with the super chat says, "Risk with top artists, producers, and samples, nah."
Ooh, valid point. What say you to that?
What say I to that?
Because there's a lot of top-notch production on here.
Let's just keep it a buck. I think that even when Nas used Trackmasters, Timbaland, Neptunes, even though they're top-notch producers, it's still a risk.
He didn't really use them on one album like that. Like the Neptunes and Timbaland are not on one Nas album together.
I'm just saying, when you're working with people, no matter what their individual resume is, that doesn't mean they're going to be a perfect fit for you.
No, you're right. Just because they're big and you're big doesn't mean that it works. Yeah. No, you're right.
Reggie with the super chat.
These Nas Jay-Z collaborations would be classic rap records.
Exactly. Just because it looks good on paper doesn't mean that it's still a risk.
It's like, oh, did you see that on paper? It's like, man, they're about to win the next 7 rings, and then you hear the record, and you're like, okay, we're not sure if they're going to win Game 7 in the first round of the playoffs.
Reggie with the super chat says, should more artists adapt their flow to fit the track, or should it be more of a producer to fit the track, the flow of the artist? Who is at fault when the ball is dropped on a potential classic? I mean, I think it's always going to be on the producer. The producer is the person that produces the product. I mean, when I was a rapper way back in the day in another eon, I would like to hear the track first, and I think things work out better, at least for me, when you construct the music around the track as opposed to trying to do it the other way around.
You know, the beautiful thing, okay, so I'm going to give you the backside of that. I agree with you, but the beautiful thing about kind of being a writer is that what happens is that when you write without a beat and you memorize those things, it allows you to start interpreting those words differently. And what happens is the stuff that you write without a beat, you can start fitting into the flow when you start writing a beat because the thought is still there from like those other things. Like there's so many different ways to approach it. You know,
I was never good at that because I was just better doing freestyles off the top than I was trying to repurpose stuff that was written, because I would try to do it exactly how I wrote it. And if I didn't do it exactly how I wrote it, I would mess everything up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
007 with the super chat says, execution, dumb it down. The song is already a hit. So high level risk is taking it on. If it doesn't hit, it brings down the view of the album if too much. Now, I will say there really
That's another way of looking at it.
There's limited risk in actually taking on a track that already worked. Now, I will agree with that. Now, I wouldn't say the producers per se, but yeah, if you take on Juicy Fruit, that's not a good example because of all the shit that's going on. If you take on Between the Sheets by the Isley Brothers, more than likely the shit's gonna work. It is what it is. And we've seen it work in hip-hop like 4 or 5 times.
Certain things work.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why I love the intro to The Moment of Truth so much.
So what do people think about, and since we're going to talk about Biggie again, what do people think about Puffy taking I'm Coming Out from Diana Ross? That already worked. So is it going to work again?
So can I tell you something? That's why I love, remember when we were doing Common's greatest hits, and I was like, I love Invocation. And he literally says on Invocation, not for the money, I could have sampled Diana Ross a long time ago.
Yep. Because I'm just saying that because a lot of rappers felt like that. A lot of rappers felt like that when Bad Boy was doing what they were doing. People like De La, people like Tribe, who really got creative with their sampling and actually used records that weren't hits and flipped samples that weren't notable and actually made hit records off of.
It was supposed to be an artistic and creative challenge, almost like people were supposed to hear the record and not know where the sample came from. That's where the whole jazz interpretation comes in from what's the De La album? I mean, obviously the Low End Theory. What's the other one? The De La album.
Are you talking about Balloon Mind State?
Balloon Mind State and the Low End Theory. It's like it came from a place of creatively trying to express and sample from a place without even letting you know it was a sample. It's like, where'd they get that funky shit from?
Right.
1956.
Right. And see, I know we look at Victory like we do now, and I loved it. I mean, I was a kid, but a lot of creatives were like, nigga, that's Rocky, looped over. You know what I mean? Like, they made a classic out of it, but from a creative standpoint, on a production level, that's kind of always been looked down upon. Just taking things that have already worked, that are already notable, because, I mean, in the mind's eye, you're already going to connect to it. You've heard this before. Even if you didn't know that you've heard this before, you know you like it. Something in your brain triggers like, yo, I'm listening to this.
Hey, real talk. That's even why Hypnotized by Biggie is probably, like, for us that are hip-hop heads, our least favorite single of his that he released, because... well, we know that's that Slick Rick shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, we know, and it's like, oh, well, that's not that original.
I wasn't
lyrically from Big.
I wasn't that big on the beat either, man. He's spitting on there too. Like all 3 verses.
So his spit game is just so crazy. It's just, it'd be hard to it's hard not to listen.
Mr. Mark with Super Chat says, are the rules the same for every MC? If this was Jay-Z, y'all would be considering it a compilation album. Huh. I want to. Let me stop there.
No.
What?
Touché.
You're probably right.
Touché.
You're probably right. But you know what?
Smoke.
You're probably right. But game.
I be talking shit if Nas dropped the album like this. I'm like, you see all these features, Mike? I don't like this shit at all, nigga. I be throwing up gang signs right now. I sure would.
But you know what? And I say this respectfully. Yeah, right. The game's not a top 3 all-time MC like Jay-Z is either. So you know, a 25 point game for somebody who's made a couple of All-Stars. It's a pretty good game for them. 25-point game for LeBron in a certain situation and certain field goal percentage could be a bad game for LeBron James. So, no, the standards aren't the same for everybody, unfortunately.
No, you want to know what? You are absolutely right, because I'm going to tell you what. When LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry play, the first thing I check is to see what they went from the field.
Yeah.
Because for me,
that other shit's a given.
Well, because for me, all three of them are supposed to be shooting 50% or better at all times. And so when I see, I don't look at their numbers. I look at their shooting percentages. Like, oh, like if they go like 12 for 27, be like, oh, off night.
Because I would also ask you in return.
They get at 35 points. I'd be like, no, off night, 12 for 27, off night. It's like 43%.
I would ask you in return, and not you, but the super chat in return, do you put Game and Jay-Z on the same level?
No, we can't do that. So I wanted to have a conversation with you because it appears to me that you enjoyed this Game album more than the Black Thought album is the sentiment that I gathered from you.
I did enjoy it more.
But
am I saying what's better? No, but I was a lot more entertained by the Game album than I was the Black Thought album. But so I will say this to say too, and I want to cut you off.
No,
the best song that came out today is easily Aquamarine.
I told you it's the rap song of the year.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's hypnotizing.
When I heard it, I was like,
even when I heard it in the scope of the album, I'm like, this shit's different.
It's beautiful.
You know how like you listen to an album, you know how you listen to an album and a certain song comes on and you're like, oh no, this is the one. Easily. Yeah.
I told you when I heard it, I was like, that's some other shit. Some other shit.
Shout out to Esquire with the super chat, man. We got attorneys up in here, man.
That's trap music.
He said, I know it's early, but on first listen, does this album affect Game's all-time ranking in any way to you guys? I have him at 29 at the moment. I think if anything, it pushes him up, especially after dragging Eminem out or trying to drag Eminem out. And we're going to get to that too. I think that's actually one of the more impressive songs on the album. And Ethan Hill, who is a Slim Shady fan, he said, Start From Scratch 2 is bad. The Black Slim Shady ain't it. Whack 100 has been talking about this song since March. Even MGK came harder, but he lost. Wrong, and wrong. First of all, MGK didn't lose. MGK did not come harder. And go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I want to see which part of this we need to speak on before we move, I think, to thought, or kind of like we can, and I'm not like in a rush to like move it, but I want to talk about something in terms of what you just said about moving him up all time. And
the Black Slim Shady is a segment of its own. So
and also the Black Slim Shady thing. So let's talk about his placement all time, and then we'll get to the Black Slim Shady thing.
Well, that's a whole other segment. We got to finish talking about the album. that song deserves its own segment.
You really feel that way?
Yes, I do.
I
got a lot of notes on this song. Like, this is all my notes.
Well, no. Let's address the sentiments about his all-time placement, and then we can get to the Black Slim Shady segment. And I'll let you kind of take lead on that because, well, we all know who you are. We all know who you are. Everybody knows.
I would be honored to take lead on it. But yeah, go ahead with the all-time.
I don't think I have a choice, Mike. Every time we talk about Eminem, if I am talking, guess what? I have to stop. I have to stop talking.
Yo, man, I learned some things. Listen, I learned some things from this song, actually.
It's very probable.
There's a lot of information that I wasn't privy to.
See what I'm saying about how you do all-time placement? All-time placement.
Okay.
So, on a day like today, and I told you this is the best day of the rap year this year because it's like, well, we get to talk about Megan, and I'm sorry, I just literally between like, you know, fatherhood and work didn't like get to Megan's album, gonna get to Megan's album. I just know that we already had Game and Black Thought lined up, and so I wanted to make sure that I had it lined up and be ready to go about that. And to the Game thing, into the Black Thought thing, well, part of what I want to talk about today is that, well, they both need to be moved up, but this is about place and about space. And and today is one of those days, Mike, I just want to submit to you, I really did realize that style does matter. And it's not what you do, it is how you do it. You can tell when Game raps that he has worked so hard and trained and educated and got himself to this level a la a Jimmy Butler or a Paul George. Right.
That's a very great correlation.
You like that?
I'd say Jimmy Butler, definitely.
Jimmy Butler is the first person that I thought of. But Mike, I want to submit something to you. When Black Thought is stepping to the motherfucking mic and he is on time, that's different than Game, even Game at his zenith. I'm sorry, when Black Thought is stepping to the mic and he is expressing the way that he is expressing, that is the type. That's George Gervin on the finger roll. That's Kevin Durant. Let me finish. That's Kevin Durant in the mid-range. That's Hakeem in the post, man.
I somewhat disagree with you, Coop.
No, it's as fundamentally sound and as good as it gets when you hear it naturally, without effort.
Listen, I feel like skill-wise, Black Thought is one of the greatest to ever do it. Just straight up spit game. He might be number one ever. But this is what I noticed, though, Coop. This is what I noticed from the record with Raekwon. When Raekwon came in, not saying Raekwon's better than Black Thought, I heard star power in ways that I don't hear from Thought.
Hold on.
I'm just saying, I did. When I heard Ray come in, my antennas went up because I'm sitting there listening to it, not looking at track lists or anything like that. I'm listening to the song while I'm doing whatever. And I'm like, Black Thought's doing his thing. But when Ray comes in, I'm like, oh, different. Damn, Ray would sound great over this track if I had three Ray verses.
Stop for a second. Raekwon does that to Kanye West on Gorgeous. So that's...
Raekwon's a better rapper than Kanye. But Black Thought's a better rapper than Ray. That's what I'm just saying. But Ray has the star power.
No, Mike,
I'm not even just saying Ray.
No. I want you to stop for a second. You think...
This is a whole nother segment, man.
No. You think Black Thought is better. I've been on here telling you that if you have Ghostface in your top 10, then you have to have Chef Raekwon right outside or somewhere in. I have Black Thought somewhere between Ghost and Ray, because Ray's right outside my top 10.
You do have Ray very high.
My top 10, and so I'm being consistent. No, Ray's that fucking nice that he can step in on a track with Black Thought, and because he is more... Mike, he's Ray more charismatic than... Hold on. Listen, Wu-Tang Clan is legendary because of the lyricism and star power. In terms of star power, he's third in line after Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard. Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard are two of the biggest stars rap has ever seen in terms of star power. I give him 4.
He doesn't have more star power than Ghost.
No. Mike, there's a reason that it's only built for Cuban Link. Chef Raekwon featuring Ghost.
He did at one point, but after Ghost hit stride, no.
No, what I'm trying to tell you is
I know what you mean.
Mike, okay, so star power also has to do with that guest appearance power. Go look at Ray's guest appearances.
It's incredible.
And say that Ghost don't have those guest appearances.
I'll take it a step further, and another guy that you love so much.
A guest appearance is about star power. They don't call Ghost, they call Ray, because when Ray hits the mic with that voice and the way because his slang is still broken down, but it's still understandable, and it's real street still.
You know who else could do that possibly? And rest in peace, Prodigy. Those are the things, and I love Thought. He has all the skill in the world. He doesn't have what those guys have on that aspect of it. That's just real.
Hold on. I don't necessarily know if Rakim has Raekwon's star power though, Mike. So that's not fair.
Man, when Rakim touches the mic, man, I told you I was listening to the Eminem soundtrack the other day.
Not about what you're doing when you touch the mic. That's Thought too.
When you hear
Thought is equal to Rakim as a lyricist. We're talking about Thought here. We're not talking about no regular guy.
When you hear Rakim's voice hit that mic, it's different, bro. I was just telling you that I was listening to Hoodlum the other day. And he was on the track with Mobb Deep and Big Noy. When he came in the room...
Man. Look here. There's an article in The Source where Black Thought was talking about his Masterpiece Theater album, and they was asking him, like, what's one of your biggest moments to him? And he was like, I literally ran into Rakim. And you know what Rakim said when he ran into Black Thought? He said, oh, shit, it's Thought. Like a fan. That's who Black Thought is.
I would say the same. Like, oh, I would say the same. I just told you.
You're right.
I just told you, bar for bar, he's probably the greatest spitter there is. I told you when him and Method Man were on Sway together, I knew my man Method Man was in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's in trouble.
Everybody's in trouble.
Everybody's in trouble.
But not in a song format though. Jay Short with this. Let me get to some of these super chats so we can keep going.
Everybody's in trouble.
Jay Short says,
"We're gonna have to disagree. Everybody's in trouble."
Jay Short says, for those Kendrick fans hating on the game last week, y'all gonna have to bring him out, song for song. And I like Kendrick. Now this album's better than Kendrick's album.
That's easy.
That's not even a question.
That's not even a question.
Miss LB says, how y'all feel about the song "Home Invasion"? It's one of the best songs on the album, in my opinion. I think it's one of the best songs too, because it's just him.
It's top 10.
Mad Max with the super chat says, you say top 10? Mm-hmm. Mad Max with the super chat says, and we gotta out more respect on Sean's name. We gotta get more respect on Sean's name. He out-rapped Game on that track. My black don't crack, my Glock forever look 17. That line was fire. And see, that's what I like about this album, too. He gave something for everybody. Because Mad Max is one of our younger listeners. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to connect with the Big Sean feature. And it's a dope record, too. He was all over the place with this album.
There's a lot of dope stuff on here. Okay, so let's run this back. I'm going to approach this with the same energy that I approached this Lupe shit. Where the classic songs at? Ain't nobody talking about the good songs. All we've been doing is sitting up here for an hour and some change. So, well, this is good. This is good. No, I know that it's good. Is it great? No. It's a 4.25. It's a 4.25. Mike, there's about 7 or 8 potential classics on here on a 30-track album. There's about 3 or 4 that's like, the rest of it's just good.
Let me go through the track list real quick. I got Outside. I think these are the standouts, right?
I like Outside a lot.
I got Heart versus Mind.
That was cool.
I got No Man Falls featuring Pusha T and 2 Chainz.
Yeah, that's up there.
I got Start From Scratch 2.
It's cool.
You think that's just cool?
The beat is better. He's better. Like, the beat is better and he's better. I wasn't a fan of Start From Scratch 1. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I got Ruby's Rose.
Yeah, I got that too. That's a banger. That's the risk of the album that paid off, in my opinion. Don't you agree?
I think that Talk to Me Nice. I think I agree with you on that. I think Talk to Me Nice is a risky record that turned out really well too. Throwing Meek Mill on the Show Enough beat wasn't a for sure.
I didn't love it, Mike. I thought it was just one of those records that was just good. So I think we might disagree.
Because I love the original so much. What did you think about Money Cash Clothes? This is what I'm going to say, man. I think for whatever reason, I never understood it, man. I think A$AP Rocky's probably one of the most underappreciated, MCs of his era. Like, he gets on shit and just gets effortless with it. Like, A$AP Rocky sounds comfortable on just about any and everything that he gets on, man. Like, he has star power, too.
No, I'm going to go a step further than that, Mike. I think he's turning into one of the most underrated MCs of all time.
He is, man. Like, obviously, we know who he is. He's notable. But I think that his fashion, I guess, aura outweighs what he really does on wax.
No, listen. This is what I mean. When you hear him rap, doesn't he come off to you as just an overall better MC than like somebody like Game or T.I. or Rick Ross when you just hear him rap?
Yeah.
Isn't he better?
Well, I don't know about T.I.
Maybe not T.I.
I get similar comfortability.
I don't know, Crime T.I. is a whole problem.
Yeah, T.I. sounds super comfortable on the mic. But yeah, I know what you mean, though. It's like, it's natural. You hear what I'm saying?
It's like the way Game and Ross work to be as great as they are. You don't hear that with A$AP. It's just like, that's what I mean about that eye test, Mike. Yeah. Okay, so I always tell this, and I always use this analogy now. It's like, well, I know Jerry Rice is the greatest wide receiver of all time. But if Jerry Rice and Randy Moss are on the same field and I'm the quarterback and we're playing, like a pick'em game, and you take Jerry Rice and I take Randy Moss, I'm about to whoop that ass. You feel me? I'm about to whoop that ass something good. Because Randy Moss is 6'4", about 210. His vertical is out the sky. His hands are like an alien. He has like unreal attributes. You get what I am saying?
Right.
Like when ASAP hits the mic, it's like, no. Regular guys can't rap like that easily.
Yeah.
That's the same shit with Thought. When it's like when Thought raps and puts some of the words together and puts some of his metaphors together, it's like, no, normal rappers can't do that. Normal great rappers can't do that.
ASAP will come in a record.
Let me tell you what. Like you need to be a member of Wu-Tang Clan to rap with Black Thought. When you're talking about like Raekwon stepping in, it's like, guess what? Like the back end of Wu-Tang Clan don't want to rap with Black Thought. You're talking about the top end lyrically of Wu-Tang Clan when you're talking Raekwon. When you're talking Ray Ghost Meth, you're talking about the top. Well, they can rhyme with Thought. That's where he is all time.
Yeah.
Somewhere between Ghost and Ray.
Are you talking about Thought now? ASAP, man, like I think we forget that his mother named him after Rakim. And so he came up in a household where, some rhymes were in his ears early. You know what I mean? Like he comes in on a record. What was that on the Mattress remix where he was like, did mad shit on the mattress. Did backflips on the mattress. Where the magic happens on the mattress. 2 ratchet fat chicks on the mattress. Like easily. Like ASAP doesn't even sound like he's trying on records. He gets on them and it's just natural for him. And I don't think he gets the credit for that. And again, no disrespect to anybody, like you said, who works at it. You can hear sometimes, and Kendrick does this, so does Crit. And these guys are skilled, great MCs. But you can tell when they're trying on the track, right? You can tell when they get on the track. Shit, Jay-Z did it on The Watcher too. You can tell when certain people get on the track and it's like, I'm trying my best. Like, ASAP never has to do that. He just gets on the track and goes. And it just sounds natural for him. And I don't think he gets enough props for that.
No, I told you he's turning into one of the most underrated MCs of all time.
Because let's just say like
think about this. He's on
draft.
Game album. He's on Nas' last album, Thought's album.
He's on Magic. Not just Nas' last album. He's on Magic.
He's on Magic. No. That's going to go down. I mean, that's going to go down. Is he the only other bars on Magic?
I think so.
That's going to go down.
Yeah.
That's going to go down.
Yeah, he's on Magic. He's on, he's on Cheat Code. Yeah. We're going to get to Cheat Code in a minute. And Killer Mike did his thing on there, too. I think that's a verse of the year contender.
What?
I think Killer Mike's verse on Cheat Code is a verse of the year contender.
Oh, I thought you said it was verse of the year because I was about to say, because like Black Thought has
no.
Black Thought has like 9 verse of the year contenders on Cheat Code.
I can't wait to talk about Cheat Code. We're gonna get there. Stillmatic with the super chat says, "Man, Game did his thing on the album. He showed that he's really a problem lyrically. Mature of Jay to clear the samples for him, and I was looking for Nas as a feature. I think a lot of us were.
I'm just happy that Hit Boy only did 6 tracks.
I am too.
I was like, go KD3.
Yeah, because I was scared when I saw 30 tracks and I saw executive producer Hit Boy. I'm like, uh-oh. DJ Bruce Almighty said that's the part of the reason why you don't out as much weight on Wayne mixtapes as everyone else. We already love the beats he's rapping on. I got you. So mixtape Wayne should be docked for rapping over stuff that's already worked. I get that. Dumb It Down with the super chat says, we moving the goal for Game. 32 features, unacceptable.
32 features?
Do you think we're moving the goal for Game?
Mike? I think we need to give this album an official rating between the two of us, and then I think we need to let you start the whole Black Slim Shady thing so we can move to cheat codes.
I think we need to go ahead and do that. Let me get through these super chats first.
We're just gonna keep on spinning.
And we'll get to our sponsor at the end too. You know, shout out to our sponsor. But you know, it's like this is an action-packed show, so we're gonna get to that stuff. Let me get to the super chats real quick. DJ Bruce Almighty says, that's the reason I don't put as much weight on Wayne's mixtapes as the others. He's rapping over beats from songs we already love. Let's see. Let me get down here.
When I said that, I was a hater. I was a hater when I said that.
But you know what? It takes these conversations for people to kind of, get to that point. Born King says, Ray fits in the greats with just about anybody. It was a pleasant surprise to hear him on the darkest part. Yeah? I mean, Ray's rhymed with pretty much any and everybody. Mr. Mark 66 says, touche. Game and Jay definitely don't shoot at the same baskets. No. Damn, I'm really behind on these super chats if that's where we're at. We was talking about that like 20 minutes ago. LP says, y'all going to talk about the 50/game reference track? Yeah, we will. I think that's part of the Black Slim Shady conversation. Unknown Name says, the problem with Thought is no matter how dope a verse or song is, it sounds like every other song he does. I feel that way too, Unknown Name. I love Thought.
Y'all are some haters.
No, I'm not a hater. I've said that about, it's another great MC. I've said that about AZ from time to time too. LP with the super chat says, Thought made the album, y'all. Black Star made. I'm sorry, y'all thought Black Star made.
That's one of my notes, and he or she, whoever sent that, is right. Yep.
Clayton is asleep, always showing super love with the super chat. Says, picked up the vinyl this morning at my local record store. Great sonics, those drums, the hi-hats are amazing. The mic performances are great. Raekwon killed it. I also feel the star power. Conway's flow is sick, but the bars were okay. KD with the super chat says, y'all really need to highlight how Game broke down M as an MC on some real battle rap shit. Replicated his flow with ease. Game needs to write M's next album because he's better than M is today. Right, on his old throwback flow. I want to get to that too. Mad Max of the super chat says, Black Thought.
Why are y'all getting Mike started? Why?
Black Thought in the Game.
Oh my God. You're going to be here all night.
Mad Max says, Black Thought in the Game did what they always do. And Mike's right, though. Don't have star power. You can't move him up the barometer for the guy to be considered top 20 or top 25. Ray is better than Thought. Oh, that's a conversation,
you
too.
You don't have Ray ahead of Thought. I have Ray higher than you do.
You do.
Is Ray even in your top 20, Mike?
What's that?
Is Ray even in your top 20, Mike? I have him right outside my top 10.
I think he should be in my top 20. Dumb It Down with the super chat says, what the F is star power? So vague. You keep moving the goalposts for the game. Why don't you talk about all the people that watched him on his own album before you diss Thought? I'm not dissing Thought. Obviously, Thought's a better MC than Game, but Game's album, to me, was more entertaining.
Is it better? And where you have Game,
it's not a better album. It can't be because, just the cohesiveness. And I think that Black Thought's album was constructed to be a great album. And that was the focus. Game's album is more like a playlist. And I'm not changing the goalpost. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
That definitely sounds changing the goalpost.
It does sound like that. That's why I had to catch myself. It sounds like that. I'm just explaining. Jay Short with the super chat says, Black Thought is like Rakim. Lyrical precision. But Rakim has star power. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, the Game's new album has a lot of fan service, clout chasing, not hooks. Black Slim Shady is trash. Devin Digg from Oakland is a better rap artist. More skillful and more original. Let's see. After I get past these super chats, we're going to get to the Black Slim Shady, right? I think it's... Oh, and we're going to rate this, and then we're going to move on to the Black Slim Shady.
If by we, you mean you, because I know where this is headed, then absolutely.
Jay Short. No, I want to get your input on it, too. I don't want this to seem like a dumping down session.
Kick my feet up and chill.
Jay Short says, no pocket watching or digging up old beef, but y'all made more than $8 of the Game segment. Just say it. Esquire with the
funny.
super chat says,
everybody got jokes today.
Won't say too much about Lupe, but oh man, we're gonna get into the Lupe. Food and Liquor is a bona fide classic. Hurt Me Soul, The Cool, He Say, She Say, Pressure, Kick Push, and Daydreaming are fire. Man, I think that's something for our Patreon show too.
Okay,
LP with the super chat says,
I was about to say, we're going to play Food and Liquor because notice when I really start doubling down and notice that when I named all the songs on The Cool in order like I did, everybody started stopped talking about that shit after The Cool. And
I went back and listened to The Cool. And I have my thoughts too, but we got so much music to talk about.
No, I want to hear those thoughts. The Cool is epic. It's like, don't tell me the rest of this stuff is The Cool. But do you notice how everybody's going to Food and Liquor now since I brought up the whole sentiments about The Cool? It's like, I'm not hearing that Draga's wave.
But see, he's a better rapper after The Cool.
He is a better rapper after The Cool, but being a better rapper does not thereby mean you make better songs. Rakim is a better rapper. Rakim is a better rapper at every point after Pay It in Full, but what's the best album?
This is true. LP with the super chat says ASAP is versatile. For real. Versatility, in my opinion, is being yourself on different sounds. Not sounding like others on their sound. Game is just using other styles. I think that's a fair point. Ethan Hill says, Mike, I told you the MGK/Eminem is a 3 for 3. No reason. Rap Devil, Bullet with Names versus Not Alike, Kill Shot, and Nat. Game said nothing I didn't know. Eminem dissed his dad and stepdad on his last album.
Let's get that.
Mike B with the super chat says, I feel we live in a playlist generation. Take different songs out of the album for a playlist. Pick and choose. Not all 30 are great. And I agree with that. I think that this was made for a playlist generation so that people who gravitate to certain songs can pull those out and put it in their playlist. People who listen to NBA Youngboy could pick that song, say, boom, throwing it in there. People who listen to French Montana, pick that, joint, this is a summer song, boom, put it in their playlist. People who listen to, some West Coast shit, he got some shit just for that. I think this is catering to the digital era and the digital mindset.
So hold on, does he deserve style points for catering to the masses is what you're saying? We usually don't hand those out.
We don't. But what I'm saying, and maybe this is what this album kind of opened up for me, I think that the way that we rate albums or what we're looking for in a rating system for an album, is it conducive for the digital era and the streaming era of constructing albums? Or is it fixed in more of a album, CD, vinyl era way of looking at things,
So here's what I mean, and this is what I mean about providing a baseline and keeping the baseline across the board. Well, if I'm going to come up here and tell people that I feel like The Cool is Lupe's only classic, and that the rest of the albums are just I only think he really has one subpar album, and that's Lasers. Just truthfully, you know what I'm saying? The rest of the albums I would consider to be 3.5s to 4s outside of The Cool. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
If you want to say Food and Liquor is like a 4.25, or even maybe a 4. I don't even know about the 4.5, but I can respect that and I can understand that. You get what I'm saying? But when we are auditing a piece of material like this, when I go back to the double disc sets that we grew up on, which is like Wu-Tang Forever and All Eyes on Me, and most notably Life After Death, it's usually the songs that are trying to reach further outside of the artist's artistic grasp that over the course of time have not held up as well.
I agree.
When you go listen to Life After Death, that's what I'm telling you. It's like, how about this? And you and I agree on this. This is why Life After Death is so classic. Well, Hypnotize is one of the 5 to 7 worst songs on Life After Death now, isn't it? Because Somebody Gotta Die is better. Kick in the Door is better. I even think Fucking You Tonight is better. I think so. Last Day is better. I Love the Dough is better. What's Beef is better. More Money, More Problems is better. Niggas Bleed is better. I Got a Story to Tell is better. Notorious Thugs is better. The last 4 songs, The World is Filled, Long Kiss Goodnight, My Downfall, You're Nobody Till Something. Those are all better than Hypnotize. So the 10 Crack
some might
Commandments
disagree with you on some of those, but for the most part, yeah.
No, I don't think so. On Hypnotize?
I think some people might say that Hypnotize is better than The World is Filled and, stuff like that.
I don't see how. Carl Thomas, Too Short.
I disagree. I mean, I agree with you.
That's one of Too Short's best verses, Mike.
Too Short said he had to step it up. Biggie was on the mic. But I guess
that's
what I'm saying is,
best verses. Yeah.
I always reference Michael Jackson with this, right? Thriller, Off the Wall, and Bad. I know I said them out of order. Those were made in an album era, right? And those were made when vinyl could only fit 9 to 10 songs max. The first Michael Jackson album we got in the CD era was Dangerous. 72 minutes. 72 minutes that wouldn't have made it in the vinyl era. So you have people making music, or at least in the vinyl era, they had no choice because it was nothing but vinyl until CD players came along and CDs came along. You only had 45 minutes or so to rock. So a lot of the shit, the excess shit, didn't make it on those albums. We didn't start getting filler tracks until the CD era came. CDs are able to hold like 75 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And so even with that mentality changing, I think that the way you rate albums kind of changes too. Like Illmatic was made,
9 songs.
It was made in an album vinyl type of mentality, right?
Yes.
But in a CD era. And so, but certain people who came up in the CD era, and I've heard this before, look at Illmatic like, well, shit, it's just 9 songs. You know what I mean? So people who came up in the CD era, they might hold an album, let's just say like an Only Built for Cuban Links or Kumani, that filled up the 75 minutes and was perfect a little higher, right? So
I can understand
now that we're in,
I mean, they're wrong. But I mean,
well, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, that's all opinion at that point. But
I understand.
What I'm saying is like, so in the digital era, when there's a whole different way of creating and focus, do we change the way that, we're rating things? Because, people changed the way they were rating albums to the CD era because the creative process was different. Because now you're trying to fill up 70, 75 minutes as opposed to 45 minutes. And now in the streaming era, you're trying to get on playlists.
What we have to do, I told you this, we keep coming back to it. This is why it's the best rap intro ever, because it stays relevant. You see, we have certain formulas, but we update our formulas with the times. You feel what I'm saying? That shit Guru said was powerful.
Are we updating our formulas though for the streaming era?
I think we kind of. Well, I mean, see, here's the thing about it. Game making this album isn't giving us a reason to up the ante or change the formula. You see what I'm saying? The boundary is supposed to get pushed by somebody where they're taking it somewhere that's beyond.
You don't think he pushed the boundary?
No, because this is what I keep submitting to you, and this is why we keep going back to Life After Death. It's like, well, Mike, show me the 17 classic songs that tell me that we need to push it further, because Life After Death has that on 22. This has 30 years later, or 25 years later. You feel me? So it's like, how is he really pushing the envelope or up in the ante? And let me finish, because I see what you're about to say. I get that it's a different era, and it's geared towards certain type of streams.
Right.
But what I submit to you, well, Thriller is Thriller, and Purple Rain is Purple Rain, not only because the quality is there, but man, the fucking numbers were stupid. I think people don't understand. Purple Rain did 17 million.
Probably
Thriller
more.
did 36. No, I'm sorry. Purple Rain did 19 million. Thriller did 36 million. They're literally some of the biggest selling pieces of work ever.
Hold on. Thriller did 115 million.
No, I'm talking about the original iteration.
But you know what? It became the fastest selling album of all time and the highest selling album of all time.
When I'm talking about 36 and 19 million, I'm talking about those records got sold within the first 5 years of those albums coming out.
I think it was 2 years for Thriller because it passed the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees had the the highest selling album of all time with the soundtrack. I'm tripping. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm
Staying
saying, no,
Alive's
I
in
know
my
what you're
head.
saying, staying
Yeah.
alive.
But
I'm
yeah.
saying 5 years. I'm saying 5 years because I don't know the data and you run aggregated data like on a 5 to 10 year span.
No,
so
but
to
both
be honest
incredible.
with you,
Yes.
most of these albums, if I'm not mistaken, if you really want to know the truth, if memory serves, Thriller did like 26 or 27 million within a calendar year. Purple Rain did like 16, 17 million within a calendar year. And so
literally
when you're talking
selling
about,
like hotcakes.
No, listen to what I'm saying. So when you're talking about upping the ante and setting the bar, if you're talking about what his point was to be able to get different streams out to different platforms and different artists and different musicians, and it be that, well, numbers wise, it needs to do that too, Mike, because Thriller and Purple Rain aren't just artistic classics. They fucking did the fucking numbers. It's not that, like, when people are like Purple Rain and Thriller is one of the best albums ever, it's like, yeah, and it's sold like it too, motherfucker.
But you're talking about two of the greatest artists ever.
You're talking about setting bars and changing standards. That's what I'm saying. He's not I love Game more than you do, Mike. He's not a standard setter or a bar changer so like this album's not changing anything. And part of the reason why it's not changing anything is because it's coming from Game, and you can't reset some sort of standard when you use this many samples.
I agree with that. Coop, you there? Coop went out for a second. Let me get to the super chats while Coop gets back in. You hear me, Coop? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, you went out on my end for a second. Let me get to these super chats so we can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I got some examples.
I want to hear your examples, definitely.
Yeah, no, I'm bringing up Life After Death for a reason.
Antonio with the super chat says, was anyone else disappointed with Conway's verse on the Black Thought album? Man, we got to get to that too. Man, I'm loving all the participation today. Brian, shout out to Brian, man. Got an Eminem fan in here. He said, Game's diss makes Rap Devil look like Ether. See, that's the narrative that I really hate that y'all are putting out here today. All y'all who trash that MGK shit, try to act like it wasn't nothing, y'all want to elevate it today, huh? We're going to talk about that.
No, that's very
another, because I keep seeing that all over Twitter. Everybody want to elevate Rap Devil today. No. Y'all said Rap Devil wasn't it. Cut it out. Anyway, Raka Shah says, DRILLMATIC is a pretty good album. 4 to 4.2, but too long though. Rappers, please make double disc albums and just give us 9 to 10 solid tracks. Just like Illmatic and just like Magic. Thank you, love. A2HH, keep up the good work. Appreciate you. Appreciate the love. I think we're getting to a point now where, people do not want long albums. So maybe him testing the waters.
That way, Mike. It's been that way since the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's where the streaming era is. I think the streaming era, it's advantageous numbers-wise for people to make longer albums, but for the consumer, it's not. Billy Bars with the super chat says, I didn't know love letters contain kidnapping your daughter and calling your pops a pedo. The stands are hurt right now. I agree with that. We're going to get to that.
Oh, yeah, we will. So I want you to understand something. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Game at all. What I'm saying is that we can't move the goalpost. And to be honest with you, these songs just aren't like, there's the best song on here. The best song on here, and this is what I mean about, well, this didn't change anything. The best song on here is probably the 12th or 13th best song on Life After Death. They got made 25 years ago. Like, there's not a record on here that's better than You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You or Long Kiss Goodnight. No, I'm serious.
Cool. Listen to what I'm saying, though. We're out here talking about this Game album, and we're bringing up Biggie, Michael Jackson.
I'm talking about length. I'm talking about because of the length of the player. Okay, so let's hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Well, let's scale it down, Mike, because the only reason that I'm bringing those things up because you're talking about it being a standard. When a standard gets set, like, you kind of know it and you kind of hear it. That was the thing with Life After Death. It's like, the thing with Life After Death is beautiful is that nobody has balanced the versatility in the hardcore, in the gangster, with the singles, with the storytelling, with the charisma, with the chicks, with the stuff that the chicks still sing along to too. Nobody's balanced it. You brought up the versatility of it being its drawing point. Well, if that's the case, the comparative analysis for that would be Life After Death because of the length. And so when you put it up to Life After Death, you see how drastically short it falls. So it's not groundbreaking.
The Raisin Head with the super chat says, thought used old verses on this album. Penalty?
I heard a couple old verses. I heard 2.
Ryan Gillum with the super chat says, I disagree. The Cool is better than Food and Liquor. Cool is where Lupe discovered his sound and his style of rap. Food and Liquor is where Lupe sounds like Jay-Z from Chicago. 007 with the super chat says, my problem with the game is where do you go from here? 30 tracks is a bit much. Am I wrong to say that he needs to take a break? He's a vet, and I gotta digest. Let's see. I
don't know if you need. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to get through these real quick. LP says, if we need to change the rating system for the streaming era, then we gotta rate cohesive albums higher off of the degree of difficulty for the not pandering.
Correct.
I think that's correct. I'm just putting ideas out there. I don't want to just be stuck in a box and saying, that we're not entertaining certain things. I'm not trying to move the goalposts. What I'm saying is I just want to put new ideas out there,
How about this, Mike? You want to know what we really need? What you're talking about is that we really need like we need a 20-song Illmatic. We need a 20-song Purple Rain or Thriller to make that conversation viable, to change the standard in the bar.
I think that's impossible, to be honest.
Well, hold on. That's why I keep on saying, well, how many all-time great rap albums do you know that have more than 17 classic songs on them? Because the closest I think that you're going to find is Life After Death, and that's a double disc.
Yeah. LP says, y'all killed Drake for doing this on Scorpion. This is better than Scorpion.
This is way better than Scorpion. Oh, my God. Like,
the Raisin Head with the super chat says, y'all go back to listen to the songs on Thriller? I do. All the time.
Hold on. First of all, not only when Thriller comes on do I listen to it, that's usually when the shit turns up. Mike, am I wrong?
And people do the whole choreography.
Come on, don't you get a little happier when PYT come on? You do. Yeah, you do.
Great record.
When he come on, don't you shake a little?
Even though wanna be starting something. Come on. DeCarlo says.
What are you talking about? Like that's the shit. All of that. I'm a Prince fan, and every time that stuff comes on, like randomly on my playlist, when that stuff, I'm like, run that. If there's not a like on YouTube Music for it, we hit my like button.
DeCarlo says, Mike, don't listen to them. I already told you what it is about Eminem. LOL. That man got dissed by someone that matters today. MGK does rock now.
Y'all are wild today.
I'm ready to get to this.
Today.
All right, there we go. We caught up on the super chats. So, all right, I think giving this album a 4.25 is fair.
I think that's fair between you and me because how about this? I don't know how you know that you're talking, but you're talking 4.5 vibes. And that's like, well, if you're talking 4.5, well, here's what happened. We gave Black Star a 5. And we took that shit back down to a 4 based on the people, because according to hip hop, it's for the people by the people.
Yeah.
That leaves us with Che Noir and Ransom at 4.5, some 4.25s like Czarface, Method Man, Lupe, and then a slew of 4s.
Yeah. It's been a heavy year.
So when you were talking the way that you're talking, I'm like, well, Mike, you're talking like it's a 4.5. If you're talking 4.5, that means it's like in the top 5 for the album of the year. I don't hear that. And that's why I'm saying 4.25, because it's closer to Czarface's album and Method Man's album to me.
Baby Be Mine is a personal favorite of mine.
Baby Be Mine is still the worst song on there, Mike.
And it's possibly my favorite song on there. Personally, I love that.
It's very problematic when you're making a classic album and Paul McCartney is singing, and that's the worst song on the album. You might have the greatest.
Oh, you talking about The Girl Is Mine? Yeah, The Girl Is Mine is the weakest song. I'm talking about Baby Be Mine. Yeah,
you're right.
The Girl Is Mine is the weakest song.
Is weaker than Baby Be Mine. Yeah. Mike, you're right. But those are the two.
And it's still a classic. And it was the first single.
Hey, so on the other podcast that I do with Andrew, we go through on Mirror Music, we go through a lot of Beatles shit a lot, and I was submitting to him. I heard something from Bill Maher that said part of the reasons why the Beatles weren't working is because Paul McCartney's shit was all the A-side shit, and John Lennon was all the B-side shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And John was tired of being the B-side because Paul's the fucking man. Yeah. Right.
Well, see, the thing was, Paul was the crossover writer, whereas John was more of the album songwriter.
Okay, so here's what it is.
And in that era, everything was ran by the singers.
And that's why Biggie Smalls is the illest, because what they're really saying is that John is the type of person that will write Long Kiss Goodnight and You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You.
Right.
And Unbelievable, but Paul's the guy that writes One More Chance.
Yep.
and Juicy and Big Papa. Biggie does both. Biggie Smalls is the illest.
Reggie Noble with the super chat says, "So glad Hit Boy only did a few tracks. That means KD3 is on the way, and he's saving the real heat for Nas." Facts. Let's talk about the Black Slim Shady.
Go ahead. No, Mike.
What were your thoughts on the record? I want you to go first.
I'm gonna get some of this spam out of the chat while you go, Mike. Ridiculous.
I don't know where to start. First of all right, this is where I'm gonna start. Our first listen, actually our first couple listens, because I listened to the song about...
You listened to this song?
I listened to this 10-minute song about 4 times.
Mike, you spent an hour of your life listening to this song.
I did.
That's very problematic.
I did. And so our first listen, I gave it a B+. After listening to it today...
No more spam at the chat.
After listening to it today, I'm giving it an A. Jay Short with the super chat says, "I think we would still be waiting on the version of Game to make that classic 15-track album with no skips. We know that he can be scary considering his discography. Definitely. So what, you don't agree with it being a B+ or an A?
Me? You talking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
What? He made a 10-minute diss record where he was emulating it?
Where he what? Well, you know what? All right. You want to start there where he's emulating M?
Let's start right there.
All right. Midget Mike with the super chat says, Funk Flex voices Eminem has 48 hours to respond. Go ahead.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here's exactly how I'm going to phrase this.
Go ahead.
On Illmatic, I tell you, Nas is great as on Illmatic because, well, he doesn't just pull from Rakim. He pulls from Cool G Rap. And imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Is he not imitating this man?
He is. But you know why he is?
It's always been...
No.
Please clarify. Please clarify for me.
Well,
for somebody that listens to Illmatic since I was a kid and find out... Mike, you know what it's like listening to Illmatic as a kid and then hearing Illmatic as a grown man and be like, man, this nigga sound like G-Rap and Rakim. Go ahead and go.
All right. Well, I think that he took on... I think it was a smart choice. I think it was a smart choice for him to take on Eminem's style lyrically and the production style because he was showing how corny the Eminem style is. And he was also showing in current day he can rap better than Eminem using Eminem's own style. So the first 2 verses, he's building the song, right? And I love how he built this record.
Hold on, I want you to pause right quick. And I'm not saying this to interrupt you. I'm asking this strictly for
clarification. Go ahead. Let's have dialogue.
So you're saying this is not imitation, but mockery.
It is mockery. He's mocking Eminem's style.
This is mockery, not imitation. You know this is being taken as imitation because
because people are trying to spin it as that. People are trying to spin it as that.
Okay.
Yeah. People are trying to spin it as that. And the reason why people don't like this, huh?
No, I said I'm just going to be devil's advocate.
No. I love that. Please do. I mean, the reason why people are spinning it this way, because they don't want to face the realities that the reason why they don't like this song is because it actually sounds like the shit that Eminem makes that you don't like. Sonically. So the things that people have a problem with on this song, sonically, are the things that Eminem does. You don't like this song. You don't like this song because you don't like Eminem's music.
Are you saying this is psychological?
It really is. This is deep, man. The way he took this on. This is Hit Boy on the track. And Game made it clear to say Hit Boy made the track. So he had Hit Boy go out here and make some goofy ass Slim Shady style of beat. People don't like the beat. People don't like the first 2 verses because he was taking on that Slim Shady image and monker and extra character that Eminem takes on, and he's showing you how goofy this sounds on somebody else. We've always said, would any of the top MCs get away with some of them goofy ass records that Eminem made? He's showing you that we wouldn't. And that's just the first 2 verses.
No. Shit, Mike. You're on to something.
This was brilliant.
This is... Are you telling me this is rap's first satire diss?
This was brilliant because Eminem spent
Listen,
his whole career.
Satire. This is a satire. No. It's a 10-minute song. If it's what you're saying that it is, it's actually it's very Shakespearean. It's almost play-like in a satire form.
It is. And the way that he involved Matthew.
It's a dramedy almost.
And the way that he involved Matthew with the starter hat.
Shakespeare told all that shit,
but the way he involved Matthew with the starter hat and all of those details lets you know this is where he really is coming from with it. And I think that also, I love the way he framed and built the story as to he is holding Matthew hostage and quote unquote holding Haley hostage to bring Eminem out. This is a baiting record. Like, listen, come outside. Come outside.
Everything Game does is baiting.
Because even the final line where he's like, "You live in a box," or "Come out your box," whatever he said.
No. I saw that. So if what you're saying is true, then from a prose standpoint, this is one of the more brilliant diss records ever if we're just talking about the prose.
Especially from a baiting standpoint. Like, this ain't even the haymaker. That's
part of the prose.
Yeah.
No, I mean stylistically, though, in terms of the format and the approach. If his prose and his objective was to kind of like lure the reader, or in this case, the listener in with the first couple of verses to get your attention and then to turn it into an actual satire where you are mocking the character that is supposed to be the hero, that is literary devices of the highest order.
You're flipping his
if
sonics.
What you're saying is true, that's literary devices of the highest order.
You're flipping his sonics, showing that the audience really doesn't fuck with this guy.
You're not just flipping his sonics, you're flipping his literary devices, because what he does well is mock and satire and have fun and poke. And that's what I mean about how that's the ultimate diss. To take his style and imitation of mockery and actually make a mockery of it.
And that's why he called it the Black Slim Shady, because this is what Eminem does when he's Slim Shady.
Very problematic.
Because he always called his first singles the Slim, he's Slim Shady on, the real Slim Shady, My Name Is, or Without Me. That's the character that goes out there and makes fun of everybody, right? Well, this is the black version of that, and this is what it sounds like in this voice.
And it doesn't sound good. I stand corrected, Mike. He needs to respond.
Mad Max with the super chat says, laughing my ass off. Coop has the take on the Black Slim Shady, but praised Hove for sounding like a fan of Nas on the takeover. Like what? Let me see.
Yeah, I said that's part of what makes the takeover so dope is that he sounds like a fan. No, part of what makes the takeover so great is that somebody as great as him in his prime is approaching it like a fan. There's something that's super humble about that.
Unknown Name says, if the point of the track was to show that if the black dude did M style, it would be whack, then he succeeded. But that's what it is.
No, that's what I mean. If it's a satire, like think about this. What a writer does.
That's the only way to approach him.
No, but listen. I'm talking about the literary devices of it in terms of how you approach the format as a writer. You're telling me that he is literally writing out the concept of a song. And he is building up to a climax, the way a story is supposed to build. And then at the climax, he hits you with the motif, and the motif is a satire and a mockery when it's really supposed to be in attack mode. And from there, he digresses into his style, which isn't entertaining to you, which leaves you to wonder, well, how is the other guy getting away with it? And he's letting you know, well, he's only getting away with it because he's white.
He said
because
that
when a black guy does it, it doesn't work for you now, does it?
Exactly.
Now, that's fucking brilliant, Mike. He has 48 hours to respond.
DeCarlo with the super chat says, I agree, Mike.
Very
I love it.
I didn't understand that until you broke it down, Mike. I want to thank you.
I still got a lot more to go. I got a lot of notes here.
I want to hear all those notes. This motherfucker needs to respond. Mike, expeditiously. Like he's at Joe Clark's high school, he needs to respond expeditiously.
DeCarlo with the super chat says, I agree, Mike. I love it because he sounds like M. I was literally mad at first, but I had to give him props because he killed that M style. Of course it. Well,
so boring.
Well, that's what M does, and this is what M gets praised for. But he's showing you in this skin it doesn't work.
He's highlighting how if a black man from Compton who raps well takes the same style and utilizes it, it's not going to be entertaining to you, which also...
Or uses this choice of production, too.
Hold on, which brings to the shade of intentionally making this the longest song on the album.
Exactly.
Oh, it's very shady. It's shady how he's behaving, too.
And then throwing Big Sean on the next record.
Mike, this is better than Back to Back and Added on the psychological level.
It's crazy, man. Born King says
48 hours. Where Eminem needs to come outside. Mike,
Born King says Born King says people's attention span.
Coop said he needs to come outside. You mean psychologically murdered by the game from Compton. You need to come outside if you're this lyricist everybody says that you are.
This shit is
They're
brilliant.
Absolutely right.
I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to go deeper.
I didn't understand it. Mike, I didn't understand. Because I'm just thinking, I'm like, why is he doing this? Why is he imitating him? I was like, this shit sounds terrible.
He's showing you how it sounds.
Showing you how it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Very problematic.
Born King says people's attention span is short now. Common was the one I remember bringing back the short quality albums would be. Illmatic was criticized for it back in the day. Now everybody uses Nas's playbook. Let's see. Ryan Gillum says, I know Coop did not just bring up Shakespeare.
No, I was doing that to be shady too.
Yeah, I bet.
Shady. This is a shady episode where we're talking about shady. It's very Shakespearean what's going on. All the imitation that's going on without the creativity is very Shakespearean, Mike. Outside of Hamlet,
Katie
we're still
says,
waiting for somebody to respond. I haven't pulled up on Twitter today. We're still waiting for somebody to respond. I don't want to hear that bullshit. I ain't mean it.
Katie says, I want to get to the end of this, man. Katie says, exactly. Game used M's whole shit against him. Mocked his flow, style, and used satire against M in the same way M goes at random celebrities.
Those are literary devices, Mike. Mm-hmm. He's not just using literary devices. He's using literary prose. Do you understand how he's up in the ante? We step up here and we talk about literary devices. Oh, what he just did is prose worthy.
Yeah.
That's what I was just talking about, how Toni Morrison, her prose is there, but the entertainment value is there. Oh, well, this prose is there. Yeah. And the entertainment value is taken away from you to accentuate the literary prose and literary devices. That's fucking genius.
Well, see, the whole of this record, right? The purpose was to bring Shady out, right? This is to get Shady to come out the house. So even when he builds that scene with the first two verses, even using Eminem's whole hook rhythm and flow, all that, right? And then he gets to the point where he's in Matthew's Uber or whatever, right? Or Lyft.
That shit's hilarious.
And then he discovers that, okay, this is Matthew. These are the things that you care about. I'm going to hold these things ransom. We're using this to get you out the house. And that last verse, that's where he goes in and starts doing the traditional diss record things. And again, there's a lot of things in there to unpack. Even him saying that he is Aftermath's runaway slave that, they never thought was going to come back.
I heard the whole Aftermath Iveen and like, no. I heard Mike, the perspective.
Yeah.
From which...
He's like, I know things. I'm that person in the building that got away and that has a career without the machine. So you don't want it with me.
No. Here's the part that got me. When he talked about being in Detroit and asking him to take him to 8 Mile, but you want to stay in the studio outside. Outside, what I be telling you about being outside. You want to know how Coop got all these stories about all these rappers and all these ball players, and I almost had my ass fucking whooped by Charles Oakley and fucking Anthony Mason got busted because my ass be outside. You feel what I'm saying? No. And I just want to say this. I'm gonna let you go. In certain spheres, Mike.
Well, that's hip hop. Hip hop is an outside thing.
You can't be inside.
Yeah.
You can't be inside.
Yeah.
You can't be inside. I learned that very, very early on. Like, when I used to live on West Boulevard, Mike, I used to have to watch my brothers and sisters a lot. You know what I'm saying? And cats literally used to clown me because I wasn't outside. And it wasn't until I was able to come, like, outside that I got my respect. Because it's, like, not even some street shit. It's like, no, nigga, you got to come outside and be who you are first. Like, up in that house, up on the hill, it's like, we don't know you, Coop. Like you got to
MC Shan say?
You got to come outside and let people know who you are.
What MC Shan say? Hip-hop started out in the park.
Out.
out.
Hold on, Mike. I mean, we need to be highlighting. I mean, hip hop just celebrated its birthday yesterday.
Yeah, 49 years.
49, right?
Probably even a little longer than that. But as far as like the first documented piece
73 is the first documented the Rec Room. Yeah, 49. We about to be 50 next year.
Shout out to my man Mark, man. He's from that building. He don't live in the building anymore. But yeah, historic shit. But yeah, man.
Okay, so Denim's family? Denim, our new senior writer? Yeah, Denim's family from Bronx. Like that's the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like the stories is crazy. Like even when I used to sit down with them when we were like in our 20s and Denim was like in college and in her teens, like just the random stories that cats will tell you like around that time. Like just sitting around they'd be like, yeah, I was sitting outside and such pulled up. I'd be like, what the fuck?
I'm going through my notes. I'm sorry. Okay. One of the other things that I gathered from the first part of Game's, I guess, third verse, because you can say the third verse is where the diss record, quote unquote, starts. He's building the story on the first two verses, and when it goes to the Matthew thing after that, this is where the diss record kind of starts, right? So I think one of the first things that I felt from this part was when he was talking about the support that Eminem's been able to get from Dr. Dre his whole career. Whereas he had to go out there and do Doctor's Advocate on his own. And so I went back and did a little bit of research. Dr. Dre executive produced. So Eminem has 11 albums, right? And they're counting Infinite in this 11. Game has 11 albums now, counting this one.
Oh.
Every single one of Eminem's albums outside of Infinite and Kamikaze, Dr. Dre was the executive producer of.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so Game is basically saying this guy was going through, what he was going through with the narcotic and all of those things, and he still got your support. And I'm sitting here bringing you records, and why don't I get that? And I'm sitting here having to make Doctor's Advocate on my own. Is it because I'm not fitting the complexion for the connection, whatever?
Can we just say this? We all love Dr. Dre and hip hop, but he's a yes man.
Well, he tied Dr. Dre up in this song too.
We need to stop sugarcoating it, and it's like stop hiding from it. He's a yes man. He belongs to the machine. He's part of why the machine exists. I always told people like the In the Club video is like the realest rap video ever because it really lets you know that if you ever felt like that the machine didn't exist and that it wasn't real, they showed you that the machine exists. Well, the machine is real.
To piggyback off of what you just said, the Game also said on this record that Dr. Dre is silent. And he said Dr. Dre will be silent. Now, he also put he put the caveat out there.
He's got so much money tied up in Jimmy Iovine, Mike, he can't even afford to speak. And there's something about that doesn't speak to freedom as a black man. I'm sorry. When your best friend and your business partner is a Jewish man and you're looked at like it's just not going to work at the end of the day, Mike. And so the shit that's what I'm saying. Well, it's like if you want to look psychologically what Game is saying, it's not going to work.
It's working
because here's the thing
about
it. Like a lot of people are like, well, Jews and blacks have like a special relationship. And yes, the relationship mostly involves with the Jewish making the money off the black and not the other way around. And that's part of why the Jewish are okay with the relationship so much. And the blacks need to be auditing the relationship with everybody better.
And make it where it works for everybody. What I was going to say, though, to piggyback off of that, I love what Game did on here by basically giving Royce props, basically saying that M bites Royce. And he also pulled a little B Rabbit from 8 Mile where he already put the butterfly tattoo thing out there. He also put the change of heart out there. So it's what are you going to say next? And he also put it out there like, is 50 going to write your rhyme? So nobody else can respond. He's going to have to respond.
I want you to listen to this. Like somebody in our chat literally just said, tread lightly, Coop. That's how fragile that relationship is. It's like you got to watch how you talk about it when you're doing a YouTube show and you don't know these motherfuckers. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's part of what Game's talking about. That's why I'm like, no, Mike, if you're talking like that, well, then fucking run it. Because what he's really speaking to isn't just a rap diss. He's talking to the systemic and racist and institutional oppression that is going on for artists in the music business to this day, and he's using Dr. Dre and Eminem and Interscope as an example.
He is.
And we need not ignore that. And we need not ignore that. So what I'm not about to do is tread lightly. What I'm about to tell you is that Dr. Dre need to say something. Eminem need to make a fucking great rap diss record to come back with this, or we gonna start giving them the smoke that I've been giving Lupe.
But see what they're trying to do.
I agree with him. I don't like the whole Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine shit. I respect it. I understand musically and artistically what is good, but I don't like the shit. Like, it don't feel good in my stomach.
You know, I think what is happening online and what I'm seeing online, people are trying their best to disregard this record so M doesn't respond. But no, this is a very response-worthy record. Don't act like this record is trash. And like I said earlier, I'm seeing a lot of these posts, people talking like, oh, MGK's Rap Devil sounds better now. Don't try to elevate that record now. This record is much better and is much deeper. Mad Max to the super chat says,
listen to what Great 88 said. He's like, you're right. I don't want you to all get flagged for anti-Semitism.
And you know what?
Because the Jewish community runs so many documents and so many things financially. It's like, well, if you say anything against them, it's like you're going down. It's like, well, you want to know what? It's like,
well, you don't even have to say anything against. Just, I mean, it could even be positive. You know what I mean?
Well, how about this? How about I'm going to tell the truth, and you know, if you don't like it, fuck you. So that's how that goes. That's how that goes over here.
Mad Max with the super chat says, mocking White Roy style rapping, forever calling him Karen, saying Sean's the top rapper in Detroit, calling him a White Royce, flipping all his songs. Let's see, we got Trey Mo says, Mike, your breakdown is on point. But I do like him too, though. And, you know, that's cool, but he needs to respond. Let me get to some of these other super chats, and I'm going to go in a little bit more.
Before you go, I need to say this.
What's that?
Because this needs to make the chat. A lot of people feel like your takes on Eminem have not been fair and that it's personal. This is as if, no. This is, Mike, this take that you are making, it's very astute. It's verifiable. There's all sorts of evidence around it. You are not just talking from a personal level. No, this shit is real. It needs to be addressed. This is a great statement of sentiment by you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Uncle Fran with the super chat says, now you see all the good is to go beyond the surface level. Excellent breakdown of this diss record. I appreciate it. We're not done, though. It's a lot in this one. It's a lot to unpack. DeCarlo says, Mike, what if
I'm excited. I'm like, oh, what else you got, Mike? Go ahead.
DeCarlo says, Mike, what if Eminem responds with a better diss record? Then I feel like that's when Game is going to turn into the Game and actually hit him with a real shot. This is a baiting record. That's what makes this so dope, too. He framed all of this just to get you to come outside.
This is psychological.
Yeah. And this is like, psychological. You remember when Show Enough went in the pizza shop and trashed Bruce Leroy's parents' pizza shop and threw his brother in the trash? He was like, now you gotta fight me. That's what this is.
Right. You're gonna come out. You're gonna bring your ass out in this alley. You're coming out of this alley. You come out of this alley.
He used all the elements that traditionally make Eminem respond, right? Like when what did he say with the Ja Rule thing? When Ja Rule brought Haley in it, he was like, I gotta respond. I lost it, whatever. And Game is trying to hit all of those pressure points.
Yeah, he's making sure.
And I honestly think that's why in the song he killed Matthew, because he was like, you don't care about your fans anyway. But I'm going to hold for ransom something you really do care about, metaphorically. Come outside.
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
And you've highlighted this before. Well, the one time Dr. Dre tried to semi-have a message and kind of like work with Nas and kind of like do that whole aftermath thing, kind of backfired in his face. And ever since then, the messages that he disseminates through his music, although the music be legendary, is the sentiment positive? Is it progressive towards our culture? Like, do I think Doggy Style is better than the Low End Theory? Yes. Do I think it's better for our people?
No.
No.
Yeah, no. Two different things.
No, motherfucker. Like, there's a difference between what you hear and what you like and what's best for you. And so Game is speaking to a lot of things right now, Mike. This is astute by you. This is some of your best journalists.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
LP
no,
with
it
the
is
super
because
chat.
you're speaking to something that's kind of like unpacking the sentiment.
Because
like
it's easy for people to ignore, right? People will see a 10-minute long record and they'll be like, oh man, that's some garbage. Or hear the first,
right.
And people have such a short attention span now. They'll hear the first verse or hear the beat, which again is intentional, and just totally dismiss it or find a way to dismiss it.
I had to listen to it in 2 parts.
He needed 10 minutes to frame all of these things.
I had to listen to it in 2 parts, Mike, and I had to go back over stuff because I'm like, what is he doing? But now when you're doing this, it's like, no, that all makes sense now. It's like, it's actually pretty...
And when you said that I spent the hour listening to that song and the way he framed it, it doesn't feel like it's 10 minutes to me.
I'm different, Mike. After 3 minutes and 30 seconds of almost like anything with the exception about 5 or 6 things, including being on the phone with a human being, I'm like...
Because it's a lot of things that I felt
where
like...
Where is this going? You got 3 minutes with Coop on anything in life. Like, it's like, what is this doing? Where are we going? Are we elevating?
I think that I'm similar to that too, but this one piqued my interest because there were some things that I felt like I missed. Like, today listening to it, I didn't hear the plastic surgery line. I was like, oh shit. Did he just allude to the fact that Eminem got a facelift? And when you look at Eminem a few years ago, you remember he was looking really wrinkled and blonde and stuff, and now he got the beard and all that. I like... There could be some validity to that. LP,
it's not like he's far from the reservation, Mike.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so important, that line where he was talking about him being Aftermath's runaway slave that actually came back to haunt them.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. And you're gonna love this. Well, part of why No Vaseline hit so hard is because, well, we knew Cube had inside information because he had been right there. His game not been right there.
Right there.
So the information that he's disseminating deserves the same validity that we gave Ice Cube on No Vaseline, does it not?
It does. But again, we, in this culture, and I don't want to say in culture, in entertainment, we pick and choose based on the people that we like and don't like.
But part of the reason why we took No Vaseline so seriously is because, well, we was like, damn, like Cube was just down with them. Why would he say this unless it was true? And so if those same rules apply to Ice Cube on No Vaseline, they apply the game on this record because he was on the inside. That's why I told you that whole 8 Mile and not wanting to leave the studio and kick it on the block. I told you, Mike, you can't pull up the niggas' hoods and not take them to your hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. LP with the super chat says Nick Cannon did the same ish and it was called corny.
You're right.
You're right.
Game is not game. It's definitely not game. Game is the way that you're explaining it to me now that I'm hearing it, and from having listened to the record, and I listened to it in 2 parts because it was so long. I'm like, no, I'm gonna listen to the first half. I'm gonna listen to the second half and make sure I take it all in.
Take it all in one. Yeah. Uncle Fran with the super chat says, now you see how good it is to go beyond the surface level. Excellent breakdown on the diss record. I appreciate the props, guys. I mean, it's just kind of hit the surface. I know we got a lot of show to go. Jay Short with the super chat says, M has no ammo. Blacklisting died with radio. This is true. I think that, again, people are relying on the fact that a bunch of trolls and bots are going to just continuously say this record is bad.
Hold on. No. So I'm going to go back, and many times often I do on here, and I've told you this. Well, Dr. Dre is just at the center of too many problematic problems for black people with me sometimes. Because when you told me that he had executive produced 11 of Eminem's albums.
No, 9 out of the 11. And
I don't give a...
Yeah. I want to be accurate, you know.
No, I hear you. Like, so 9 out of 11?
And one of them is, let's just say 9 out of 10. Because I don't even want to count Infinite. You know what I mean? Because that's before they even met.
That doesn't count. Infinite is some bullshit. Infinite is a mixtape that really didn't exist. That's not a real album. Okay? He was an underground rapper. That's not a real album. I don't care what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame says. I don't care what SoundScan, Billboard, whoever the fuck is.
They retroactively made it his first album.
They can retroactively kiss my ass, is what they can do. But as far as that whole, like he's executive produced 9 of Eminem's albums.
Nobody's got enough support.
Hold on. No, listen to what I'm about to say.
Snoop Dogg got 1, right? Or 2, maybe.
Listen to what I'm about to say. No. How many executive albums has he produced as a whole for artists that came out of Compton, California? I want you to give me the tally right now, because that's what I mean about, well, like, do you belong to us, really? Reggie, like, do you belong to your hood? Like, fuck that other shit. Like, leave Snoop out of it, because that's Long Beach. How many niggas from Compton has he produced?
I think he's executive produced just 1 of Snoop's albums. Now, let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. I thought it was just
Compton. Like, I said, how many dudes from Compton has he executive produced?
No, I'm just saying, even if you throw Snoop in the mix, it doesn't change. It doesn't change the numbers too much, even if you throw Snoop in the mix.
Right. It's like, oh,
let's just say Cali. Let's just say Cali altogether.
Let's say Cali, right?
Yeah.
So we got what? We got Exhibit with Restless, right?
Yeah.
We got Doggy Style.
Yeah.
Is Dog Food attributed to him?
I don't know if he's executive producer on that. We can look that up.
There shouldn't be, because we all know that's Daz. So we got
Good Kid, Mad
Straight
City.
Outta Compton and Niggas for Life.
Are you going to count All Eyes on Me?
I'm not, because Tupac doesn't.
Okay.
Because California Love was supposed to be for Dre's solo album, and that's the only contribution, and that's where the fallout started, because Suge gave it to Pac. That's part of the fallout.
Yeah.
Suge was like, let's go on Pac's album. Pac's fresh out of jail. Ain't nobody like buying the Chronic right now. Everybody, Pac's out of jail. Nigga, like, let's go on Pac's album. Yep. That was part of the fallout.
Got to go with the wave. Let me get to some of these super chats, man. Reggie with the super chat says, have Timberland.
We're not dealing with Dre, Mike, because I've said this multiple times. Like, what you're saying about him and Game is solid, but I've been talking this shit about Dre and how I don't like it for a minute.
Reggie with the super chat says, have Timberland and Swiss become yes men? I mean, if you got to ask. Let's see.
I mean, I don't know about Timberland because we don't see him, but Swiss, I'm just going to say less. I'm going to say less.
Say less. Hold on. Let's get through these super chats because I know we got a whole nother album to get to. And Jay Short says, Coop called out. Jay Short says, Coop called out Dre on No Vaseline 30 years ago. This is facts. JD Diesel says, salute the mic. I've been saying this all day. I knew I wasn't bugging. Top tier diss record. I mean, you guys are making me think it might be an A+, but I'm not going to give it an A+ because I think that's No Vaseline level. I think that for a setup record, yes. But overall, I don't think that a baiting record could rank so high.
How about this? The Stillmatic diss over the Paid in Full beat, I thought was the best setup diss record ever. This now replaces that.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the perspective and the psychological tones of it.
Yeah, and then he took on that persona that M uses.
I want to get back to this Dr. Dre shit.
I know you do. What else is there to say? He produced.
So we got I just want to be clear. No, when you say stuff like this, people think you're crazy, and so you need to say it out loud so people understand. So we got Straight Outta Compton and Niggas for Life, right?
Yeah, he executive produced those, I believe.
I mean, if you want to count Doggy Style, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we got Exhibit's Restless, right?
Right.
What else do we have other than that?
I guess you got Good Kid, Mad
City,
right?
The documentary would be 5?
Yep, and Good Kid, Mad City.
That's 6.
Yep. He's done 9.
And so the totality of your illustrious career, where we call you the greatest hip-hop producer ever, you only have 6 albums out of your hood, but you got 9 albums with him.
You didn't count the Chronic in 2001? But even if you do, he's still
fucking an album short.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But so Game started off his verse just talking about how, for whatever reason, Eminem was getting more of Dre's work and attention as an artist.
Well, he's right. Eminem just got from 1997 on.
1999 on.
Sorry.
Even a shorter time period, yeah.
So when did Straight Outta Compton come out? 1988?
88, yeah.
So let's see, about 5 of those 8 albums that we're talking about happened before Eminem came along. And so pretty much what it looks like is that Eminem is the main thing that keeps him from working with his own.
That's what it appears to be.
Very problematic. No, I want you to understand this. Tell me how many executive albums he's produced for a West Coast hip hop artist since Eminem's popped up. Like, forget Compton, just West Coast. Since Eminem popped up, it's the documentary and what else?
I mean, no, because I was
because M bought him 50. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, so he did Get Rich or Die Trying, so that's kind of similar.
I said West Coast.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
New York. Yeah, so ever since that, I guess it's just documentary and Good Kid, Mad City.
So 2 albums in the 2000s, in the last 22 years.
But when it comes to M, in the 2000s, we got 8 executive produced. Like, I was surprised to even see the Dr. Dre executive produced Music to Be Murdered By. That's crazy to me.
No, I saw that. I told you that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you did tell me that.
See, that sounds like something they just do and kind of put down on paper now, too. It's like, we're going to put this down. That is what that is.
Beats by Nobody says, M needs to respond. Not Bizarre, not Royce, M. And I think the game covered that, too. When he brought 50's name in it, he's like, do you need him to help you? And then he covered all his bases. He brought up his butterfly tattoo. He brought up Change Your Heart. It's like, okay, cool. We're going to take this one off. You're not going to be able to use that. He gave Royce the props that I think Royce deserves. He said that Eminem's been copying Royce's style and getting famous off of it, right? He went ahead and gave Big Sean his props. So now all you got to use is, and honestly, if they fall into that trap where, let's just say 50 jumps in it with M, I don't think that's going to happen. That's too risky because 50's never just went straight at game. That's too risky because what will happen is
he'll body him.
If he bodies both of them, that is a bad look. So M, he fixed this whole thing where it's like you either come in here alone or both of y'all come in here and both of y'all catch it.
Hold on. So let's go ahead and speak to this. A prime 50 and a not prime game was more of a fair match than New York will ever admit. And listen to me when I'm saying this. Don't you ever think that the MC that the game has been the last 5 to 10 years is the MC that 50 is. 50 might be a better hit maker. The only MC skill that 50 has over game at this point is the ability to make a hit record. Literally every other box belongs to game when you check it off. If 50 steps into this, let me finish this.
Go ahead.
If 50 steps into this, he's going to get bodied.
Well, it's funny. Somebody mentioned this earlier. Somebody mentioned this earlier in the chat.
He'll catch a whole body. He ain't built like this. No, game is nice now.
Yeah,
this is not fucking hate it or love it time. Like, nigga, you're gonna get your feelings hurt.
Well, this is what I was gonna say.
Somebody not do that. Power working and all the podcasts and all that. You better stay over there and do that. Don't let him get you drug into this and get your ass drugged. Game is going to
Coop is turned up right now, guys. All right, this is what I was gonna say.
Then I said that if 50 got a problem with it, tell him I said so. Not a big fan of yours. Game will drag your ass right now, nigga. Don't let him gas you up. You will get drugged.
Well, somebody mentioned this earlier in the chat, and I would be remiss to not bring this up. Somehow, the demo for Games Higher got leaked. Maybe I think it was yesterday, and it's all 50. So yeah, that
you can tell. See what
I'm
saying?
That has been put out on the internet.
Do that right
Somehow
now.
That one leaked. But see, this is the thing. Game already put it out there. First album, he wasn't the MC he is now, and I think that when it comes to 50 and M, when it as it relates to Game, the only thing they got is stuff that's like 15 plus years old. This ain't the same guy.
It sounds like you're reaching. That's what I'm saying.
Same guy.
Hold on. When you have to drop a skeleton track off this man's first album when he's on album number 11, you're making all the points for everybody, including him. It's like, oh, you see how far? Because that's what I always tell you. It's like, look here. When you're debating somebody, going back works one of two ways. It either works really well or really bad. As in, look how far back I had to go to find your good shit, or look how far back I had to go to find your bad shit. Well, if I got to go that far back to find your bad shit, that means you're the shit.
And the one thing the Game has going for him, and it's a really big thing, he made it without the machine. He made it without the support of Dre, M and 50. Actually, with 50 and G Unit going against him without the support of Jimmy Iovine, and he's still here.
Mike, he made it without. Think about this. He went in a year's time from having the biggest push from the biggest hip hop money making machine in rap history in terms of numbers and sales.
Yep.
To not having them a year later, and he is literally here 2 decades later.
In 2022.
It's almost unheard of.
Beats by Nobody says, we're about to see if M is truly a rap god. I think we've seen that a long time ago that he's not. Like,
I think Mike is
the fact that MGK was able to survive that, and it's even debatable for some people, even though I think MGK won, that gives you all you need to know right there. Now, I'm glad that he addressed also the fact that, M's music just don't get played anywhere like that. And I think even Matthews...
He brought that up, too. Yeah. I like that he brought that up. Because that's one of the things
you've been bringing up. Stuff don't get played in cars.
Hey, you want to know what? Hey, Mike. And this is what I mean. I'm going to give you some props. Well, I thought it was kind of funny how he had brought up a lot of things in his diss that I have personally heard come out of your mouth the last couple of years while we've been doing this podcast. No. But it also makes me think it's like, yeah...
But again,
be watching according to Hip Hop Live. Yeah, they be watching according to Hip Hop Live. He's saying all the shit Mike be saying. I thought I was Mike when he was rapping. I thought it was you. I was like, okay, so he watches the show.
Well, I also like the fact that he framed himself as like Aftermath's runaway slave.
He made it a fan. He kind of did what Jay did from a perspective on the takeover. Is that he took a step back and made it a little psychological. Yeah. Like, I'm going to tell you the strongest point of the takeover for me, it was when he went, 1, let's say 2. 2 of them shits do.
Yeah.
One was, yeah. Other was, when he did that, I was like, that's fan talk. I was like, motherfucker, son of a bitch. No great rapper talks like a fan.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Game's talking on this. He's kind of like, I kind of like you, but since you want to be honest about it,
I like one of your albums. He said one of them get played in my ride out of your 10. Now, I like the way he framed himself as Aftermath's runaway slave in the perspective of people keep bringing up when he was on Aftermath and he had Eminem in his top 5. He's letting people know, nah, I was Aftermath's slave then. Now I'm free and I'm telling the truth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing.
So, because people kept bringing up all that footage where he was like, man, don't mess with Eminem, man. Nobody can see Eminem. Yeah, that's when I was Aftermath's slave. This is Aftermath's runaway slave, and now I'm going to give you the real.
Okay, so, I brought up Shakespeare earlier, Mike, so I'm going to bring up Toni Morrison right quick. In 1972, she was the editor of this book called The Black Book, which told African slave stories in it. And from it, she found the story of Beloved. But the only reason she found the story of Beloved was because it went to trial because they got free to tell their story.
The game is free to tell his story.
Hold on. Listen, the character that plays Beloved was a real woman. If she would have slit those babies' throats on a plantation, we would never know that it fucking happened. But because she got free, Mike.
Yeah. He framed this perfectly, man.
Kind of like Toni Morrison does as opposed to Shakespeare. I totally feel you.
Ray Rams with the super chat says, which pair of anniversaries would be more subtle than Game versus Eminem to bring a versus back to form? Eminem doesn't want it with Game in a versus.
No. I don't even know. I told you, I don't even know if 50 wants it at this point. Game has had a whole career. 50 has not rapped in a very long time.
Ethan Hill with the super chat says, 50 said a long time ago when people diss Eminem, they push him into a space where he is most comfortable. 300 bars is light work for M. The diss is a no. Well, if that's the truth, let's see it. And see, that's the other part about this, too.
We need evidence.
Yeah, we need evidence. And we need updated evidence.
He's got 48 hours, Mike.
We need updated evidence. See, this is the thing, too. With a record like this, he puts M in a box where let's use the Benzino one for example, because he had 2 different diss records. Do you do the sauce approach or do you do the nail in the coffin approach? Do you try to go the comedic route or you want to try to go hardcore? Because if you try to go hardcore against Game, that's not going to work for you.
Comedy's not going to work with us,
not gonna work
so he's in a tough spot.
He's in a tough spot.
I'm gonna tell you where he really is. He's kind of in that spot that Meek was in.
Mm-hmm. Where you want to go?
It's like, where you gonna go? And I'm gonna tell you what. It's like, well, you don't have much time to respond either.
Yeah. You don't want to go to hardcore street route. You can't
hold on. Because you're the battle rapper and the MC, right?
Exactly.
I know you just ain't gonna let him do you like that, right?
You're the guy that ends people's careers with rap battles, right? Nobody. It's that whole notion. Nobody wants to with him, right?
Furthermore, hold on. You're the guy that faded Jay on Renegade. That's what they hold on to. Ain't that you?
Well, I think the game said something very potent that he said what Memphis Bleak said. He said he feels that Jay's part on Renegade aged better than M's. What was the actual quote there?
I said that first. I told you that the double entendres and the way that he layered that verse was just as good as the way M layered that verse. I told you that. I've been saying that on an MC level. See, people get caught up in the lights, cameras, action, glamour, glitters, and gold, Mike.
Yeah. Mad Max with the super chat says
they don't unfold the scrolls and
stampede the globe.
Yeah.
Mad Max with the super chat says the skit help. He said the skit helps with it not feeling like it's a 10-minute long song. Honestly, sounds like it's a 2-verse song and then a skit leading into a diss, but it all connects. It does feel like that. And I think that little skit in the middle of the song is the bridge that brings this whole thing together. I think it's a brilliant piece of work. And for the people that are out there saying that he was praising him, I mean, you just don't get it, I guess. And I guess they didn't hear the lines about the fact that, his father, allegedly, and I'm going to just say this allegedly, and I did the research, but the numbers seem to line up. His father allegedly got, his mom pregnant at 15, and his father was like 22 years old. So I guess people didn't hear those lines. And also in the fact that, when I heard that, though, the first place my mind went was...
That's a little personal.
It is personal. I think...
It's way personal.
To some degree, it's very...
That's statutory rape, Mike.
It's very far to some degree, but the first place my mind went was like, and you were giving this lady shit your whole career. That smoke could have went all around, as opposed to just being directed at her.
Well, I mean, if his father was 22 and his mom was 15, well, his father is a rapist, and that's where his vitriol needs to be directed.
Yeah, exactly. And it confused me why it was never directed there.
But here's what we do is we misplace our tropes and our sacrifices and our anger and where it needs to go. And so it's like, well, if your mother had you at 15 and your father was 22, your issue needs to be with your sick ass daddy, and not with your mama struggling to raise you in the circumstances that came from her dealing with a grown ass man when she was still immature mind. Like my daughter is 15.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, if she props up pregnant at 15 by some chance, Lord forbid, with a 22-year-old man, Mike, you don't have to worry about according to hip hop. I'm going to prison.
Yeah.
Because he's a dead motherfucker.
I think everybody feels the same way.
On site. I'm like, no, you're what? Where's this nigga at?
Yeah.
Because that's how that shit's going down immediately. And then I will get up out this chair, I will walk upstairs and go, yeah. All that shit's happening live on camera. So he needs to address the shit where it goes. I mean, like, I've damn near been arrested on camera doing the show. Like, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like, a 15-year-old should not be having sex with a 22-year-old. Period, point blank, under any circumstances or situations. So his anger is totally fundamentally and psychologically misplaced. It sounds like he needs therapy too.
LP with the super chat says, Mike Ghost wrote it. I got the reference tracks. LOL.
No, but it does sound like from the perspective that he's approaching, I can't front, Mike. You've been sitting up here for 2 years, and a lot of the information that got disseminated in this record.
I can't lie to you guys, man. I'm just
you said no. A lot of the stuff that's in this record, you have said, and you have said live, and we know that Game watched this show by some of the comments that he has made.
He's commented on some of our Instagram.
Yeah. Everybody knows. Everybody know who they're listening to. And you want to know what? And here's what I'm saying when I be saying, and I just want to sidebar right quick.
Mm-hmm.
The real reason that I want people to say our name was, Mike, if the rhetoric isn't intelligent enough that, well, you want to beef with us. or you want to take it and run with it, where our fan base can see that you're inspired by it. Well, any other time a rap publication has had that type of effect, the rappers have said their names. And for some reason, these people have the same problem with saying our name, but we got albums like Magic, we got the Lupe shit, we got the Eminem shit, we got the Griselda, like a lot of this
shit. We're not part of the machine.
Like Mike, all these people talking this stove shit.
Yeah. We're not part of the machine, man. We need to get our Rock Nation tickets.
No. All I'm saying
our brunch tickets, excuse me.
I mean, first of all, ain't nobody invite me to no brunch. I can't be trusted.
I want to go to the brunch. At first, I didn't want to go to the brunch.
You're way more trustworthy than I am, because like I don't give a fuck who you are if you say some shit that I don't like to me. It's like that's where it happens.
Well, yeah, you can't go to the brunch.
That's right. That's why I'm not going to the brunch. It's like, oh, I don't like how you said what. It's like, well, nigga, nobody really fucking asked you, nigga. Right. That's exactly how those conversations go with me. Like every single time, it's like, well, I really didn't, but nobody asked you, nigga, because I don't know you. So like, mind your business. But for you, you can definitely go. But all I'm saying is that like say our name if we pushing the culture forward and sticking to our guns. Because anytime people have done it before us and it appears that like a lot of people are tagging us as those people, it's like, well then like say our name.
Well, this is what I will say, and not to interrupt you.
If you say our name, I won't have these issues or these problems. It's when you don't say our name that I had these problems.
Well, this is what I will say. And when the Shade Room posted my top 25 Southern MCs list, they didn't tag according to hip hop or even say according to hip hop's name or anything, but when Vibe and all these other publications picked up on the list, they did. So I can only attribute that to the fans. I appreciate y'all probably going in there correcting that situation. But I'm sitting here like, well, if they grabbed the list and they didn't even put our names in it, and the reason why the list kind of circulated was because of their posts, how did these other people know where the list came from? Mysterious.
Hold on, but that's what I'm saying. Do you not think that those other people didn't pull up somebody within those frameworks?
Of course.
And hear what I had to say when I was like, oh, but they don't even want to add us or tag us? Because I guarantee you, Mike, that's why I said it. Because if I had not pulled up here and been like, fuck, they ain't add us, the rest of them wouldn't have added us. Right.
Let me get to these super chats.
I had to say something to get the ad. It's like, we got to say something to get the ad. Y'all don't treat other people like that. And I told you, when people from the Shade Room be down here, it's like, don't have me roll up on you. I
do remember that episode when you said that. Ethan Hill with the super chat says.
Because the next day we popped up with a bunch of ads. It's like all of a sudden.
Well, they never tagged us.
Hip-hop. Yeah. It's like, oh, now you're adding us? It's like, oh, that's cute. We had to beg, though. It's like, I got to beg you to get an ad for some shit that the owner of Hip-Hop created.
That you took.
Yeah. That you literally, look here.
You know you got it from.
Models, no, they're Instagram models with millions of followers that they at all the time. You understand?
Yeah. Remember me, the one you got your idea from. Ethan Hill with the super chat says, Game lost a $7 million lawsuit and needs Eminem. See, there's more narratives, guys. Regardless of why, let's just say Game did clout chase, and let's be real. This song got a lot of people to listen to this album that might not have listened to it if this song didn't exist. So what, he clout chased? So what, he went out there and did whatever to get attention? Is Eminem going to respond? Because it's worthy of a response. I don't care why he did
it. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Is a white rapper coming out of Detroit in the unsigned hype choosing Dr. Dre over everybody else clout chasing?
Let me ask you something else.
Let me
ask you something else. And I had this in my notes too. The great KRS-One, when he went at MC Shan, Mr. Magic, and the great Wally Mall, was he clout chasing when he made the bridge?
No, he was not.
No. When he does it, it's called hip hop, right? This is just hip hop. So deal with it. It's hip hop. Now you got to answer to this. Inspector said, to be that successful in hip hop and not get play in anyone's whip is amazing. Ooh. It ain't amazing.
Hold on,
it's
Mike.
marketing.
I got one for you. When Foxy's going at Kim on Bang Bang after the Quiet Storm remix, is she clout chasing?
No, it's hip hop, man. Whenever it's Eminem,
she on some rap shit on Bang Bang.
Yeah. And like you said, this is an insider. This ain't just some random MC coming out of God knows where.
Foxy's from Brooklyn.
Game has the same amount of albums
that Kim and about Big.
Right. Game got credentials, man.
Like you remember the verse to Bang Bang, Mike? It's like some of that shit was personal. It's like, oh no, she's from Brooklyn. She got inside information.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says Kendrick is the only Compton artist executive produced by Dre. Well, Game 2 with the documentary.
So we've got two out. So we've got 2 NWA albums and 2 artists out of Compton solo albums, solo debut albums, and M literally has double the output plus another album.
Okay. It's incredible, right?
That's problematic. No, that's problematic because none of those 9 albums that he executive produced for Eminem, which apparently is greater than his hip hop output that we hold him in high regard for, has the greatest producer. We got to re-audit that greatest.
And you know what? These are.
I want to know who did the beats. No, I want to know who did the beats.
Well, this is what I wanted to go through.
Trying to audit. No, I keep telling you, Mike. People keep trying to audit M in this situation. M's not the one that belongs to this culture the way Dr. Dre does. So he deserves to be audited first.
Well, this is what I will say when in regards to Dre. We talk about Dre being the greatest hip hop producer of all time. I know I say that all the time.
Way anymore, Mike.
But no, this is what. Let me finish real quick. This is what I was gonna say. With all these bad Eminem albums that he's executive produced, he don't get points taken off.
Hold on.
I mean, let's just be honest.
If Kanye
would have, hold on. Yep, I was gonna go there too. Yeah.
If the RZA had an artist from the Wu-Tang Clan, with 9 albums that he executive produced, and none of those albums was considered to be a top 25 hip hop album all time, we would have a problem.
I want to go another route.
We would have a problem.
I want to go another route. Let's just
I would have a problem. I'd be like, keep been producing this nigga for how long? He had made 9 albums. We don't have no Liquid Swords or no Supreme Clientele, Purple Ticket. RZA is fucking up. RZA is fucking up. I'll be pulling up like RZA's fucking up.
Let's just say hypothetically.
Like, RZA can't do it no more. Can't make this Capadonna album. He can make a Raekwon album and a Jizza and a Ghostface album. Can't make a Capadonna album. That's exactly what we would say.
Cool. Let's just say this, right? Let's just say Kanye and Common made beat. Let's just say Kanye executive produced 8 other albums, and them shits was duds. What would we be saying?
I'd be saying it's very problematic.
Mm-hmm. Beats by Nobody says the song exposed.
It's very problematic.
Beats by Nobody said the song exposed stands more than it does Eminem. I think it exposed a little bit of both.
Very problematic.
And a lot of this stuff is.
No for Eminem.
All right, let me go through some of the quote-unquote factual stuff, right? And we already went through the executive producer thing, and
I want to go through the beat thing. You want to know? I'm glad that we're doing this Monday show, Mike. For everybody that doesn't know, I'm going to plug it again.
That song could really be broken down.
Starting on Monday, we're going to be on Patreon. It's going to be $9.99 a month for 4 extra shows. We're going to pull up every Monday. We're going to allow you guys to jump in and debate us. We're going to play live music. This is the shit that I want to talk about, Mike. Like right now at this point, because it's like there's so much. Like Dr. Dre has had so many co-executive producers. He's executive produced so many of Eminem's albums. He apparently has. Mike, how many beats did he do on Get Kid, Mad City? I know he did 5 beats on the documentary. I know he did 5 beats on Get Rich or Die Trying. Like. You understand that RZA did all the beats on Only Built for Cuban Links,
all
right?
Of them, yeah.
You understand that, like, he did all of the beats on Liquid Swords, right?
Yep.
Except for, I think, like, Bible, I think Fourth Disciple. Like, he did all the beats on Return to the 36 Chambers except for Brooklyn Zoo. And I think True Master co-produced one other song. Or it was Fourth Disciple that co-produced Snakes. Like, he did all the beats on Enter the Wu-Tang. He did all the beats on Tikal. He did all the beats on fucking Iron Man.
Yeah.
Finch is produced by True Master. Every other track is RZA. And so when we're saying he is the greatest producer of all time, it's just like, straight out of Compton niggas for life and part of in the Chronic and part of Doggy Style is not enough.
I feel like because
real talk, because this is what I mean about how I want to break it down. I want to know. I want to hear the skeleton tracks to Doggy Style.
I do too.
Because Doggy Style to me is his best produced album. No, Doggy Style to me is the best produced album that ever came out of the West Coast. And like really, according to Snoop, it's like Daz did the beats. Dre did the executive production.
No,
so you're telling me that sound belongs to Daz and not Dr. Dre. What you're telling me is that the way that it sounds belongs to Dr. Dre, but you're telling me the sound belongs to Daz. Well, that changes everything, especially with you producing 9 Eminem albums and none of them are hip hop classics in the eyes of the populace.
Let's just say one is. That's still 1 out of 9.
Mike, that's a one hot album every 10 album average.
DeCarlo with the super chat says Coop is ready to go listen to Death Row East now. Yes.
First of all, Death Row East is a classic.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I'll be damned if I do 50-50 split with 95% of the talent and credibility, but won't split 50-50 with black artists. Dr. Dre is corny. Man, y'all are wild. This became a real discussion. KD says,
I want to hear the reference tracks to Doggy Style, don't you?
I do. I've always have. KD,
the beats to Doggy Style sound different than the Chronic too, Mike. I've never denied that.
Yeah.
Like the Shiznit, does the Shiznit
that
and
sounds
Gin and
like
Juice?
gas, to be honest.
Well, does the Shiznit and Gin and Juice sound like some shit Dr. Dre produced on the Chronic? Because it's like literally like 6 months. It doesn't.
KD
Doggy
says,
Dog World? Does that sound like Dre? Just saying.
I don't know. KD says, man, Game was spitting ether when he told M that your mom didn't give up on her dreams and become a teen mom just so you could become a wigger in jeans. Yeah, that was a really tough bar, man. Cam Porter with the super chat says, the Game is the black Slim Shady because he name drops as much as Eminem as well. The Game destroyed M, by the way. I think that there needs to be a response. I don't think there is going to be a response because a lot of fans are giving Eminem an out where they're saying that the record isn't up to par. But I'm here to tell you, I rated this record an A, and I'm leaning towards an A+.
No, Mike. I'm gonna give you your A+ actually. But here's what I want to discuss. It's like, so right now, we know for a fact that you did the beats on Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life, No One Can Do It Better, and The Chronic. We're not certain about Doggy Style. You produced Phone Tap with Chris the Glove. You produced all of 2001 with Mailman and Elizondo. So where are the Dr. Dre tracks? Because I'm gonna tell you what. No, there are RZA tracks. There are Alchemist tracks. There are DJ Premier tracks that exceed that I just spoke of without any help.
Shit, Pete Rock too, man.
Pete Rock, Mike, maybe Q-Tip.
Yeah, not maybe. He got the low end theory.
He's got the whole low end theory.
He got the whole Midnight Marauders.
Here's about the low end theory. The low end theory is like the East Coast Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like cancel those out.
And but even if you want to outtake that, you got songs like Award Tour. They're like some of the best songs ever made.
If the Chronic and low end theory cancel out, it's like, well, Q-Tip's got Midnight Marauders. It's like, well, you got Niggas for Life and Straight Outta Compton. It's like, well, give me Midnight Marauders over either one of those beat-wise and executive production-wise and song theme-wise and black culture-wise. Like, Mike, how many ways you want me to go down? And then I start looking at the DOC's album. It's like, the DOC's album is more important to his catalog than he can even realize, because there you go with your lyricists and your concepts and your themes and the beats matching, because we know, Mike, you and I know how horrible Niggas for Life is to listen to. Like, you don't play Niggas for Life for your daughter, and I don't play Niggas for Life for my daughter.
Nah.
There's a reason for that shit.
Content-wise.
When something for Niggas for Life comes on, I immediately skip the record when my daughter's in the car. It's like, there's no need for you to ever hear any of this or even know that it happened.
Sonically, it's incredible.
You need to know that Ice Cube made Death Certificate in America's Most Wanted, sweetie.
Yeah, sonically, it's incredible, but content-wise, is some of the worst content you're ever going to hear in a hip-hop record.
A bitch 17 times, raping her, and then throwing her out the car with my daughter in the car.
It's an awful record.
So, when these are the masterpieces that he's executive produced, how much has he really contributed to our culture? Like, think about this. You can play the low-end theory for your mother and for your daughter, and so can I. We can't play Niggas for Life for either.
No, you're right. LP with the super chat says, the Game had M in his top 5 last year on Twitter, shaking my head. He woke up. We could change our minds. Coop had Andre 3000 in his top whatever last year. And he received evidence. When we started the show, I didn't just have him in my top 5 all time, Mike. I had him about 3 or 4. And you were like, that's crazy. And I'm like, no, nigga, you're crazy. And you're like, Coop, where are the songs? And that's when I was like, you mean the Outkast songs? You mean the Love Below? And you were like,
where are the rap songs with 3 verses and a hook, Coop? And that's when I was like,
yeah, it's unfair to everybody.
That's when my heart started breaking on the inside, but you couldn't see it live. But like everything inside was getting crushed. Like my whole childhood was getting destroyed when you were saying that. And like, step the fuck on. But like, I accepted that shit like a man. And today I can pull up and be like, no, that nigga's not even top 25. He can't make Incarcerated Scarfaces or Quiet Storm or Dead Presidents or The World Is Yours. Matter of fact, we don't even know if he can do like a Brooklyn's Finest outside of Benz or a Beamer. It's like
we don't even know if he can make a Bonita Applebum. You know what I mean? Like we don't know
if he can make a Good Day by Ice Cube.
We don't know.
We don't know if he can make a Never Seen a Man Die. Right.
It's like, you know, it's like when guys just
we have no evidence.
No.
So there's been a murder, but we can't find who committed the crime.
It's like us giving a batting average for somebody who's never stepped up to the plate. It's an NA. You know what I mean? Like it's just
right. It's like you want to know what it is? It's like the Negro League guys that never got counted damn near. It's like, no. I heard that he hit 340 and had 70 home runs and batted in 104. It's like, no. I hear that, like you heard that he did it. It's just that we really don't have any, evidence.
Well, that's different because we know it happened. This never happened.
No. Him being this great happened. The evidence didn't happen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, how about this? I can remember when Ken Griffey was like young, and people were like, well, he's going to be the greatest baseball player of all time. And it's like, well, yeah, based on what you're seeing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to finish.
You got to finish the job. It's like if I was ranking Griffey all time, he'd probably be like 17. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very generous, to be honest.
Miguel Cabrera is better than Ken Griffey Jr. to me. Albert Pujols is better than Ken Griffey Jr. to me. Mike Trout.
That hurts my heart, but you're right.
Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. You feel what I'm saying?
That hurts my heart, but you're right.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Reggie with the super chat says...
Tony Gwynn's better than Ken Griffey, Mike.
Who?
Tony Gwynn's better than Ken Griffey.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Ken Griffey more, but he is.
I like Ken Griffey more than all those guys except Bonds. Tony Gwynn's the greatest hitter that ever lived.
Ever. Reggie with the super chat says, M now knows how Royce felt. Facts. Ooh, you're right. Royce took a L, and now we're on the brink. And I think like you alluded to this last episode. Royce can't really jump into this with the Lupe thing out there.
He better not.
It's like you got a balance out there.
He better not get involved with this. It's like, no. You better go handle your business first.
007 with the super chat says.
No. That business is sitting out there.
Right.
It's hanging out there. Because all this shit that I was talking about Lupe, and it's like, you love Royce though, nigga. It's like, I'm still getting burnt by choosing him. Like the people on Twitter ain't no joke, Mike. They're like, that you choosing Royce, nigga. I'm like, he still ain't made no record. One dude tagged me. I told you one dude tagged me, Mike, and was being petty. I was like, why are you tagging Royce? I was like, are you being petty, messy, or both? And he literally hit me back, and he was like, you know what happened, right? Everyone when niggas is talking like that, like, no, like, Mike, that's the type of shit of why I can't go outside, because if you say that to me live, we got a box.
Oh, my God. 007 with
you know what happened, right? Yeah, I know I'm about to happen right now.
Renegade, honestly, over time is a dope record, and case may be made for both initially. I had J over M, but looking at the magnitude of the mic performance and what M is actually saying, it actually hits. So I got to be honest. I always thought M had the better part on Renegade, to be honest, but I'm not a big fan of the record. I think Jay was chasing the beat. M has the
better part, but it's not by much.
People I think that you're listening to the literary devices. I think a lot of people are listening to stylistically and who sounds comfortable on the record and who doesn't.
I think there's that too. M had the record because the record is originally with Royce and supposed to be on Royce's album. Okay? Right. That's not even an Eminem record. That's actually a Royce. If you really want to retrace Renegade, Eminem made that beat for Royce to go on Royce's album. That was supposed to be the Royce M collaboration on Royce's album that was going to propel Royce. I don't know what happened with that on that side. Part of why M sounds so comfortable on there is because, he made it with his partner in rhyme for his partner in rhyme's album. Royce actually sounds better than M on the original version.
And you know, M produced the song, and there's a level of comfortability.
No, he made it for he made. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He actually, he made that beat. When you hear how Royce comes off on the beat, you can tell that M actually made the beat for Royce to be comfortable. Royce and Jay stylistically are out of this world, and so stylistically, when I'm talking about what Jay did, I'm also talking about the degree of difficulty. That beat was made for Royce by M. Jay was able to adopt it and make it palatable to the point that it's even a conversation. Yeah. Now, lyrically speaking, Eminem is better than Jay on the record. But Jay's whole point, because Jay knew all these things, was to make it fit and make it work. And so here's what I'll tell you. It's like that beat, it's like when Kevin Durant showed up to Golden State. It's like, well, Jay is so great that you can just insert him into anything at that point in his career, and it's going to work. That's who Jay is at that point. He's KD when KD went to the Warriors. It's like, well, you know, this was already Royce and M's thing. It's like, well, that's Jay.
He's like,
so
if
you just plug Jay in anywhere, it works. The same way if you plug KD anywhere, it works. The same way you plug LeBron in anywhere, what it do? It works. That's what happens when you are one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in some people's opinion, of all time.
In his prime.
I look at Renegade as a mark of Jay's greatness and not as M's mark of greatness. So every time people say that, I'm like, no, that's a nod for Jay, and that's just like literally a scratch for M. It's like M did what he was supposed to do. Jay did one of those things. It's like Kevin Durant is winning 4 scoring titles in 7 years, and then he goes to OKC, and he literally, listen to this, he averages 2 less points over 3 years, and he is playing with 2 other guys averaging around the same amount of points that he is. It's like, well, how do you do that? It's like, well, you're fucking brilliant and you're great. You always find a way to get the buckets that you need to get to keep your average kind of comparable. So even though his scoring average is 27 points a game, his scoring average at Golden State was about 26, Mike. He literally averaged a point less. He was playing with Steph and Clay, and he only averaged a point less. Well, he's KD. Jay is Jay. You can put M on the record. You can put Nas on the record. You can put Rakim on the record. You can put M on the record. Guess what? Jay is going to be Jay. That's what makes Renegade special, is that Jay is Jay in any circumstances in his prime. It's one of his better moments.
Let me get to these super chats so we can get to this Black Thought album.
It's one of the more highlighting things that I have to say about Jay in that time, because on the early part of the album, he is ruining my favorite rapper's career.
Born King with the super chat says, Magic is dedicated to Mr. Magic. Get over yourselves. You're right. It was just a coincidence that I said the Hit Boy and Nas got Magic. I said that. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Yeah. Things happen.
It's funny how Mr. Magic's not referenced at all during the whole album. Okay, go ahead.
Ray Realms with the super chat says, it's painfully obvious that there is a mole in the chat looking for ways to synthesize what you guys are doing organically. Check out my last super chat.
No. Let me tell you guys what.
Hold up.
We got many moles in the chat. We got people from all sorts of media entities that know that we're the pulse, that like to steal our pulse from us. Just understand, I better not ever see you in person. Mike's going to be nice to you. I don't roll that way. If there's a flight of steps and the doors are closed and it's you and me alone in it.
No. Miss LB says, M clout chases also. Name dropping all those pop stars in his song.
Down the steps. So be careful how you not add us at the Shade Room while y'all be in chilling in the same spots I'm chilling in. Don't let Coop catch you in the elevator. It's going to be worse than Solange.
But yes, she's right. He clout chases too, but again, people like to pick and choose when they're saying somebody's clout chasing. KD says, the irony of M's fans calling Game a clout chaser when M made a career going at different celebrities unprovoked and still does it today. And yes, and that's exactly why he named this the Black Slim Shady, so people couldn't frame it in that way. So now it's like, okay, so you're putting that on me, the Black Slim Shady, but the white Slim Shady doesn't get that treatment, right?
You mean the real Slim Shady?
The real.
Because I'm the real Shady.
You're right.
So will the real Slim Shady what? Please stand up?
Please stand up. LP says, respectfully, this ugly talk, y'all avoid and hate when personal stuff comes up, but y'all talk about M abusive pop. Game lost a lawsuit, but it's a narrative. I'm sorry, but it's narrative, but let's talk about who M should be mad at. The narrative is let's talk about who M should be mad at. Cam Porter says, I've never thought that Dr. Dre was the GOAT producer. He wouldn't even be able to play an M record in a versus. RZA versus RZA, Primo, Dilla, better than Drake, in my opinion. Dre. Why, fellas?
First of all, niggas do be stealing from us, and I'm going to approach them. I told you, I feel they be having me feeling like ghosts, man, on the purple tape. It's like, niggas bit nah shit.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says Dre has no beats on any Kendrick Lamar albums. He executive produced Good Kid, Mad City, and yeah, I don't think he produced anything. I can't think of anything.
Not one Dr. Dre beat has hit Kendrick Lamar's desk that we have heard for mass consumption to this day. I told you that's the trump card, Mike. I told you, in case of emergency, break glass. Guess when Kendrick should break the glass? Right now.
He can't do anything for him.
Whack ass album. So I don't care how many times Game references Kendrick's album on his dope album. The album's still not good. Call Dr. Dre. How about this? This would be a great time for Dr. Dre and Kendrick to cement themselves collectively. Because what I want to start doing on our Patreon show is I want to start having the producer debate about the beats. Because a lot of Dr. Dre's best beats, it does have co-production credits. That shit's not like that with the RZA. When RZA does Long Kiss Goodnight for Biggie, it don't say RZA produced by Fourth Disciple.
I mean, we can say the same thing for, like I said, Premier, Pete Rock, none of those guys. Ethan Hill with the super chat says, Mike Dean does Kanye's music. Stop it. Well, we've seen Kanye.
Nobody asked you that. We wasn't even talking about Kanye.
We've seen. So, is Mike Dean on B?
Did nobody ask you that, though? And Mike Dean ain't on fucking Daytona or B or the
Blueprint. Is Mike?
How about that? How about this? Kanye's 3 best executive production works. Guess where Mike Dean isn't? On them motherfuckers. This is what I'm talking about. You see how people trying to slide shit in?
Yeah, like Mike Dean made Heart of the City or something.
Is he on the Blueprint, B or Daytona? Next.
Right. Yeah, Mike Dean didn't make Heart of the City.
How about this? Whoever said that, you bring your ass here on Mondays. You bring your ass here on Mondays and talk that shit so we can play the music.
Hassan Sykes with the super chat says,
I want Leroy. I want Dumb It Down. I want Nas to go. I want you. I'm the greatest. I will rope a dope you. All right?
Cool, I got to get through these super chats.
You don't want no smoke with me, Leroy. Uncle Fram, you don't want none too. That goes for all of yous. I'm the greatest. I feel like I am the greatest. Nobody breaks it down like Coop. You don't want none. If you pull up on Monday, you're going to get some. We're going to pull up the voices, the songs, the literary devices. You niggas is whack.
I got to get through these super chats, Coop.
Okay, sorry.
Hassan Sykes says,
Patreon.
I can't believe that I'm about to spend money on this, but the game's diss is trash. Y'all are gassing. All cap. Like I said in the beginning of my diatribe, you think it's trash because it sounds like Eminem's music.
Mike, you want to know what? At least Lupe's not here to call your diatribe racist like he did mine.
Melvin Wright says, I've always had an issue with the claims of Daz producing Doggy Style. Maybe Doggy Dog World baseline only. Niggas for Life was the start of the sound for Drake.
Does the shit that not sounds like Daz? That sounds like
let me finish the super chat. Let me finish the super chat. Niggas for Life. Cool. Niggas for Life was the start of that sound for Dre. Nothing else Daz has made sounds anywhere close. Now, I do think that Niggas for Life is kind of like the precursor for the Chronic, but maybe not Doggy Style. Now, Niggas for Life definitely sounds like Chronic before the Chronic. Jay Short says, if you two are Eminem, how would you respond?
You better respond in kind with another dope diss record. What do you mean? How you respond?
No, I think you mean stylistically. I'm responding in the sauce type of way.
The beautiful thing about being an artist is that you have a canvas that you can paint on.
Mm-hmm.
And however you paint is however you paint. I mean, it can be impressionistic, it can be abstract. It can, you can go cubic like Picasso. Like there's ways that you can go, but you want to know what it needs to be. It needs to be dope.
Yeah. Bottom line.
Yeah, it don't matter what you do.
I think it needs to be vicious.
It's like I told you, Mike. I was in the Louvre and I was like, well, all these paintings are dope, but they all look kind of like, the same. And then I went to the Orsay and I was like, oh, they got style in here. there's different types of styles and like. I was like, oh no. I was like, people are going to the Louvre to see Mona Lisa. If you want to see some style, you want to see some bars, go to the Orsay. You go right up the block. You can stay in the same parking deck. It costs you 21 euros to park there for 6 hours. I know.
Well, let me say this, man. I think that M should go vicious, and I think he should go over the top because you know what? He gets licenses that other artists don't get. He can go over the top. We've seen it in his career. Nobody complains about any of the things that he's ever said in his career. So I think he should just push the envelope because he can do it.
He actually can't do that anymore, Mike, because if he goes too far, we're going to pull up and be like, well, you really don't have that type of license to do that.
Andre Shashir with the super chat says, Roy said he feels bad for calling Lupe a B, but I think that's only because he got smashed.
I told you, what did I text you when he said that? I was like, I don't like that at all.
Well, Jay Short with the super chat says, don't let M fans trick you. We're on this diss. Jermaine Young says, Mr. Magic is sample at the start of the dedication. Yes. Billy Barr says, Coop, let me find out you are 36 in a karate class. Boring King says, Mr. Magic's pick is on the back of the album. Yes, it is.
Hold on. Can he stop for a second?
We got to get through these super chats.
No. Literally, one of the women that I work with, her son and my daughter are the same ages, and they're in a martial arts karate class up the street. And I want to teach Asaya some self-defense before she goes off to college. And so I am thinking about putting my 40-year-old ass in a karate class just to do it with my kid. So yes, might be 40 in a karate class. But like all things I do when I'm here, I'm going to own this shit while I do it, if I do it. But definitely my daughter. Self-defense. Keep her away from you fuck-ass niggas. All right.
The L Web 100 says, I've been saying this for years, that Dr. Dre is overrated. He's like the kid in school who copied your homework and gets all the credit for it.
Wow,
you fans have a lot.
That's pretty vicious.
It is. Nas the Goat says, Coop.
How much did he pay to say that? That's vicious.
Nas the Goat said, Coop, I want all the smoke Monday. LP
no, you
says,
don't. Pull up on Mike. They're gonna be able to interact.
Why y'all get him started, man? We got to get through.
Be able to interact on Monday.
We should be able to. LP says, Dre has more albums with solo produced credits than Ye. That's something that we can test out. Okay, overall, I mean...
No, hold on. What albums are they talking about?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is what I mean. It's like, okay, so understand this. It's like, on Get Rich or Die Trying and on the documentary, he did the same amount of production credits on those two albums combined as like Ye did on B. Or Finding Forever. And like, so when you're saying that, that's what I mean about how we're going to have to pull up live on the Patreon show on Monday and start auditing some of this live because people's like, oh, well, he produced this, produced that. It's like, no. We need to play the 5 tracks that he actually produced off the documentary. We need to play the 5 tracks that he produced on Get Rich or Die Trying. We need to play them up against B. Mike, I'm going to tell you something because I know this already because I put them together. B's going to win.
I'm gonna say this like before we move.
The stuff that he did on Get Rich or Die Trying and on the documentary, it's like it's great stuff. It's not the.
It was great for the times. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this before we go on to the Black Thought album because again, man, we 3 hours in and we ain't even got the Black Thought. I think that what we need to listen to this record for is the fact that it is a setup record and it is the ultimate baiting record to get you to come outside. Am I saying that this is Ether? No. I'm saying that this is the one that is getting Slim Shady outside and then you're going to get that record. Supposedly. And I don't think Eminem's even going to respond, to be perfectly honest with you. And see, what's happening is the way people are trying to frame this record, if M doesn't respond, then they're going to justify it by saying that the record wasn't strong enough. And I'm here to tell you, this record is plenty strong. So.
No, I think the way that we've kind of like broken it down is kind of like giving it reason to be held in that regard. But I just kind of wanted to see something right quick. Okay, so Dr. Dre, first of all.
Oh my God, we're back on him.
No.
It's a whole separate show.
Right. No, because I just pulled up Get Rich or Die Trying's production credits. In the Club, First of all, it's not just Dre, Elizondo.
Yep.
Right there.
Shout out to
like
Elizondo.
I told you. Right. He is Dr. Dre by himself. If I can't, Dr. Dre, Elizondo. Back Down, the Ja Rule disc, that's Dre.
Okay.
Mike, that's it.
That's it? Mm-hmm.
That's the contribution to Get Rich or Die Trying. Are you sure he's the greatest producer of all time? You want me to pull up? That's why I was like, no, we about to go live. We about to go live.
All right. Well,
all right.
Let's talk about this Black Thought album. You mean
the album we should have been talking about first? But okay.
You think we should have went Cheat Code first? I guess.
It's the better album. The better album's supposed to lead off.
Well, I went Megan first. I went Megan first while people were coming in the room. So
no. I get starting off with Megan is good because you actually had a synopsis to offer that I didn't, and so I think that's a good way to start a show when it's like when you have two hosts or a co-host, and it's like one person has heard something the other person that hadn't heard, and it's as quality as you said that it was, and I do trust your sentiments and opinions about it.
Go check it out. I think it's
no. Like literally, I'm gonna have to go pick up Asaya in about an hour and then go whip her around for a minute. When I go pick Shady up, my daughter's name is Asaya Shady. So if I'm saying Asaya and I'm saying Shady, same person. That's my kid, Asaya Shady. But I'm gotta go pick her up from work. When I go pick her up from work, I'm definitely gonna put it on, and then I gotta whip her around a little bit. And so like I'm probably gonna get through most of the album before I touch back down to the crib. So I'm gonna listen to it, but in all candor, Mike, in full candor, the Black Thought album is better than the Game album.
Okay.
And we can juxtapose why. Musically, I think I'm going to try to, and this was my first thought about our Monday show, I'm going to pull, because the Black Thought album is, 13 tracks? Mm-hmm. I'm going to pull what I feel like are the best 13 tracks out of the 30.
It's 12.
12. I'm going to pull what I feel are the best 12 tracks from Black Thought's album and juxtapose them to the 12 best tracks from the Game's album and show you why. But for me personally, when I heard this album, the only complaint that I had about the album you already gave, which is the tempo. And if the tempo is the only complaint about this album, well, then I would tell you it's the least complaints that we've had about an album all year, which makes it album of the year.
You got this as album of the year? Okay.
I do because it has the least complaints. Because immediately, how about this? Here's the best way that I can frame it, and I want to pull it up specifically when I was listening to it.
Can I get to the super chats real quick while you're doing that?
Yeah. No, I didn't even know we had super chats.
Raka Shah says, Mike, thanks for your point of view on the Black Slim Shady. Track sounds much better now. Wonderful perspective. You fellas are on point. Keep doing keep doing your thing. A2HH rocks. Appreciate that. So, LP with the super chat says, no one could do it better. Straight out of Compton, Niggas for Life, The Chronic, B and the CD are the only, College Dropout, are the only albums with no co-producer. Daytona got co-producers. We'll get into all of that. And I think that's a whole separate show. But yeah, we'll definitely do that.
So hold on. So the Monday show on Patreon is really going to allow us, like, how about this? When we're here and we're live, we're digging into our feelings. We're dealing into our perspectives. We're dealing into our critiques. Because of what's going on and how we can do it on Patreon, it's like, no, we can go beat for beat, bar for bar, and break it down and start deciding.
Yeah,
and like we can start getting somewhere. And that's part of the reason why we chose Patreon. Truthfully, we were going to go on the website, but we realized that if we did the website, that y'all weren't going to be involved, and you were just going to be forced to listen to me and my diatribes. And Lord knows nobody wants that, because apparently you guys want to lose to me. Like that's really all I hear when you guys talk. It's like, oh, apparently you want to lose to me the way Lupe did with the Shakespeare thing. Because I'm still waiting to hear back from him about him picking a ghostwriter as his best writer of all time. But if you want to lose the same way that he lost and think that you won the same way that he did, that's what the Patreon is for. And you can pull up. But when I pull up cheat codes, Mike, from track 3, from The Darkest Part to Strangers, from 3 to 9, oh, that's the best album run this year, clearly. And it's not even a question of it. I get what you're saying about tone, the tone of the album. The BPMs kind of feel like they're the same. But what I would submit to you is that Well, Daytona's kind of the same way, and we don't say anything. There's only like 2 switch ups. Yeah, the BPMs on Daytona are all the same outside of what would Meek do, and if you know, you know. And so there's a couple switch ups on here.
The games
the tone's kind of the same beat wise. You're thinking stylistically because the beats are so different. But
I'm thinking more so stylistically. And maybe
Mike, they're hitting that same pattern of where Push is comfortable, and that's why you like it so much. And so, what I have to submit to you is that, well, what makes this Hit Boy Nas pairing sound so good? What made that Pusha T Kanye sound so good? Is what makes this sound so good. He found a producer that he sounds good from end to end with, and that's what this album is. This is Black, and I want people to understand this. This is Black Thought's first real attempt at a solo album. This is Black Thought's first real solo album. There are 3 EPs. There's The Roots. And then there's this. This is his first real opus, Mike. And it's beautiful. Y'all talk about DRILLMATIC not having any skips. No, this doesn't have any skips. DRILLMATIC has skips. This doesn't have skips. The bar work is intense and is at high level. The beats are soulful and match the artist, which is what we've been waiting for him to do. The reasons that his EPs do not sound as good as we would like them to sound, it's not because the bar work is not there. It's because he doesn't sound invited and excited enough to rap over these tracks. No, he's invited and excited, and the themes that he expressing on here, to quote the person that said it, is exactly the same thing that's going on the Black Star album and on the Lupe album, and it's done better than both and more digestible than both. And here's what else I'll submit to you. He put people in places to succeed the same way that Game and Westside Gunn does, and we need to give him credit for that as a lyricist. Lyricists don't put people in places to succeed like this. Like that whole Because, Belize, Aquamarine run, 5, 6, and 7, with the artist and the way that the artists were placed and how it sounds, that's Westside Gunn shit. That's Game shit. That's Scarface shit.
I think,
and when they do it, we give them credit. We're going to give the lyricists credit when they do it too.
Well, you know who I want to give the credit for this? I'm honestly going to give Danger Mouse the credit because he's in the group too. Yep. And I think that where these people are placed has a lot to do with Danger Mouse.
So you want to know what I hear?
Based on the resume, you know what I'm saying?
So you want to know what I hear? Remember, okay, so in 2020 when KD1 came out, KD1 was the 5th best album that year, in my opinion, after Pray for Paris. No, 4th. I had it tied for 4th with Busta Rhymes' ELE 2. So it went Pray for Paris.
Alfredo.
If I could go back, I put Alfredo 3rd originally. If I could go back now, I'd go Pray for Paris, Alfredo, From a King to a God, and then KD1. This is better than KD1.
Oh, yeah. No, this is better than KD1.
KD1 was the 4th best album of 2020. Okay? You can't tell me for certain right now that Che Noir's album is better. You can't tell me Black Star's album is better.
I can tell you Black Star's album is better than me.
Okay, so you and me, we feel like Black Star's album is some next shit. But also, too, you have to understand
this ain't
something.
Some next shit. It's some dope shit, but it ain't some next shit.
People may not hear what we're hearing with the Black Star. How about this? The Black Star thing, Mike, is one of those things I hope when they're doing the according to hip-hop, like BIOP, we're like, yeah, we were right about the No Fear of Time thing and everybody else was wrong.
That No Fear of Time is some next shit.
No. But for right now, Mike, it's just a 4.5. You feel me? For right now, that's just what it is. That. No, because we're according to hip hop, and we have to let the people be involved. And the people keep knocking No Fear of Time down about Moses' performance and saying Madlib's done better beats. So we knocking it down to a 4.5 at least, maybe 4.25.
I like Madlib's production job on that album better than I like Danger Mouse's on this. And you know, I was big on this album, and I picked this album to be album of the year.
I agree.
Maybe I pumped it up too high for my own liking.
No. Here's what I would tell you, because I thought of No Fear of Time when I thought of this. Even with you saying that, because I do think Madlib's production job is better than Danger Mouse's job.
Or Black Thought's just Black Thought.
Black Thought, Mike, I don't care what you feel about Mos Def and where he should be. I don't care a shit about Talib and where Talib is when he is his best. You know who Mos Def and Talib is when they're at their best? They're not him.
I think Mos Def is his best.
No, he's not.
Mos Def is his best.
What's the Double Trouble? No, he's not.
Hold on, let me get to these super chats.
I'll take Black Thought at his best. Hold on. You can take Mos Def at his best. I'll take Thought. I'll whoop that ass.
I'll take Mos Def at his best at any day.
Aquamarine is the proof. No Gold Teeth is the proof. Hold on. Mos Def doesn't have a No Gold Teeth in his catalog.
You talking about the guy with Mathematics in his catalog?
No.
Or the guy with Priority in his catalog?
Mathematics.
We're not going to play that game. Come on now. Don't try to play Ghost. I mean, not Ghost.
Mathematics is something that should be compared closer to Dumb It Down and I Gave You Power than No Gold Teeth. That's why I'm saying he didn't have no gold teeth. He doesn't know how to just, most don't give you no street banger. Black Thought can give you a street banger. Where's the street banger at? Mathematics is the street banger?
Now this is where I want to go to the actual tracks with. I wish we could play
music right now. Let's go to the tracks.
No, let's go to the tracks with this one.
This fall shit banging.
No, write that one down.
I'm sorry, Mos Def doesn't have one record that I've heard like No Gold Teeth in his career.
Let me get to these super chats. Melanin Man with the super chat. Melanin Man with the super chat.
No Aquamarine unless you're talking.
Let me get to these super chats.
I'm sorry.
Melanin Man says, I'm not even the biggest Black Thought fan, but his teaming up with Danger Mouse was genius, and it shows. Live instrumentation works well for Black Thought via the roots. Now with Danger Mouse, fire. I think there's a couple of more super chats. Shoot, I think I skipped over my man Jay Short. Shout out to Jay Short with all the support. He says, Close to Famous is my favorite song this year. He also says, Set Good Productions says, Dre ain't produced in years. Tupac in 1996. Nice quote.
I'm sorry. I want to get to this most of Black Thought thing. Yeah, we're about
Cam Porter says, No Fear of Time is a 5 out of 5. People are sleeping.
That's what we said.
I agree, Cam Porter.
That's what we said. No, I want you to understand. Okay, so understand this. For you and me, how about this?
Oh, the Raisin Head says No Gold Teeth is an old verse.
Find me the verse.
And I think we're good. Verse. Go ahead.
If it's an old verse, that's more of a testimony than it is a detraction. If the verse is old, that's a testimony. Like when you go into church and you testify to inspire the rest, it's like, I just want to let you know that I just set the world on fire with this song. But it's 7 years old. Testify, testimony. That's what you do in your church. You testify testimony. Listen, there are no skips on this album, Mike.
Yeah.
There's no real skips on this album. This is Black Thought. No, how often, this is what I'm about to say, and this is how I want people to start framing it. Think about how often times a lyricist makes an album with no skips. I'll wait.
This is what I'm going to say. Because I disagree with you. I'm just going to name the songs I could do without. Is that fine?
I would love to hear them, Mike, because you and me are not hearing the same thing.
The songs I could do without are, I'm sorry, man. I think Identical Deaths I could do
without. I knew you were going to say that. You're fired. I want to let you know that you're fired. I want to let you know that you're fired. You like drill music in Zion, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you not like Identical Deaths?
I mean, I think the standard, maybe it's Aquamarine being in front of it.
It's Aquamarine being
Aquamarine is so excellent.
Mike, that run, I told you, Mike, that run from 3 to 7 is the best album run this year. It's actually the best album run since Magic. No Gold Teeth, Because, Belize, Aquamarine. Oh, no. Those 4 songs in sequence are the best 4 rap songs that you're going to find this year. Period, point blank. Without question. Mike, you know how I feel about Doom sometimes? That Belize shit with Doom is stupid, Mike. It's stupid.
No, I agree.
That shit high level, Mike. They follow up the Belize joint with Aquamarine. Aquamarine is the rap song of the year, Mike. I told you when I heard it. Didn't I tell you when I heard it? I was like, that's the best rap song this year. It is. And again,
Aquamarine is better than everything that's on No Fear of Time. But I think No Fear of Time, for me, is still rap album of the year.
People don't think so though, Mike. I would agree. I would agree.
Well, people ain't heard it, and that's a problem.
Hold on, listen what I'm telling you. If you're giving me Danger Mouse or Madlib, I'm gonna take Madlib slightly beat wise. But Tariq, the walking standard of bars, Mike. Oh, Talib and Mos ain't fucking. Hold on. If Talib and Mos were ever fucking with him, well, they're not right now.
Well, this is what I was saying.
That's where the No Fear of Time of conversation is, because the production and the length of the albums is very, very comparable. And I also want to submit to you that one of the best out verses on the Black Star album is by who? by Thought. Yeah, Thought has one of the best verses. He's on the guest appearance on the Black Star album.
Yeah.
And he has the best verse on that song. And so it's like, no, this album's better than that. If you want to start, if you're going beats, rhymes, and life, and not the innovation, because I think when we gave No Fear of Time a 5 because we can hear the innovation.
Innovation goes a long way with me. It really does. No, it does with me too. I really feel like in 5 years, Mike, we're really going to pull up on No Fear of Time, and everybody else is going to be wrong, and we're going to be right. Yeah.
But while we're right here, this is better according to what the standards are being set.
You know, it's funny, man.
Let me ask you something. Let's take Black Star out. Is it better than the Che Noir and the Ransom to you?
Yeah. It is.
And that makes it album of the year outside of Black Star, which means
I'm fine with that, and I'm fine with it being number 2 that I've heard so far. But I didn't get that feeling that I felt when I heard the Black Star, because I got on the Black Star a little later in that afternoon because you had heard it before I did.
Yeah, that was the midnight listen. That was the midnight listen and then the day listen. Yeah, that midnight listen.
And when I heard it, I was like, yo, man, this really is some next shit. Ethan Hill with the super chat says, Mike Dean helped 2 beats on Daytona. Antonio says, this was a masterful emceeing from Black Thought. And you know what? Black Thought is super consistent when it comes to emceeing. But one thing I will say, all of the features on here, on point. I'm not even that big of a fan of LP when it comes to rhyming. Well, LP rhymed his ass off on this record. A$AP Rocky did what he does. Killer Mike has a verse of the year contender on this album. Joey Badass did his thing. Raekwon did his thing. Russ did his thing. I mean, when you say the Black Thought is the standard of bars, you could tell that because from the features, everybody brought their super A game because they knew who they were on the track with.
Okay. Thank you for saying that. So when you were talking about Raekwon and how Raekwon sounded on this track earlier, I wanted you to hear exactly.
Doom did his thing too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Doom did his thing. No, let me say
that. I didn't want to leave that off.
No, let me say it so people understand it coming from me. No, Doom did his motherfucking thing on here.
Yeah.
That shit with Doom is Belize is one of my favorite joints on here. That's one of the 4 best joints on here.
And Conway did his thing too.
He did. But let me say this about Ray. When I heard Ray's verse, you want to know what I heard? I heard somebody that knew that they were rapping with Black Thought. Ray hasn't had a lyrical verse like this in quite some time. For all of y'all, like you know how I feel about Wu. You know how I feel about Ray. I got Ray almost as high as I have Ghost. I have Ray higher than I have Method Man. Raekwon on this verse sounds the way he sounds. He doesn't rap like this when he raps with other dudes because he doesn't have to. You understand? Black Thought requires Raekwon to bring his 95, 96 purple tape game to the table, and he does. That is what Black Thought requires out of somebody like Raekwon. And so when you're like, he's not a star, it's like, well, I could tell you the same thing about Westside and about Game, but for some reason, those guys always bring out the best in their stars. And this guy, Black Thought, lyrically, is something that Game and Westside can never hope to be. And so when the guest stars show up like this for somebody like Black Thought, Mike, what can you really say? Raekwon's verse sounds like that because, Mike, you need to hear those first 2 Black Thought verses. It's like when I heard Ray come in, it's like, well, he didn't have a fucking choice. He didn't have a choice. You can't kick your street hat. No. You better get on your big pun, Nas, Rakim, Cool G. You better get on your lyrical game. You better get on your super lyrical game. You better act
says,
like the rapper next to Ghost, and this is Supreme Clientele. You better. That's
LP
Black
says,
Thought.
So Thought, he's talking to me, he say, Mike, so Thought got more skips than Game?
You did kind of allude to that, Mike, because you felt like a 30-track album only had 2 skips. You told me a 30-track album only had 2 skips.
This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. And I know we've said this in previous shows. We were talking about best MCs from Philly. And we talk about Black Thought, obviously being that runaway number 1.
Well, it's him.
Yeah, and then you got Beanie Siegel out there.
Yep.
Beanie Siegel, to me, is much more entertaining to listen to than Thought. I would never say he's a better MC. Beanie Siegel's not more entertaining to listen to than Thought?
You know how I feel about
Come on
Siegel.
now.
Okay.
He's not more entertaining to listen to?
Hold on. So let's unpack this.
Yeah.
And I was harking back to our old conversations, Mike, when you brought up the entertainment value today. I can remember those mid-2000 stretches, Mike, and you used to be like, Coop, Nas is boring. And I'd be like, he's not boring, you're just not listening. Now, here's the reality of the matter about that sentiment. You were right about a lot of stuff, because Nas can sometimes be boring.
In certain settings. But if we talk about Thief's theme, Nas, no.
That's what, okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. You understand that what Black Thought is doing on this album is more Thief's theme than anything else. So when you're saying it's not entertaining, it's like, no, this isn't like Save the Baby's Black Thought. This is like Thought on some rap shit, Mike.
Listen,
you don't want
I'm
to hear Black Thought. This is Black Thought on some rap shit for 12 tracks, and you're telling me that's not entertaining. It's like, no, I've actually been waiting to hear Black Thought on a solo mission on some rap shit, like literally since I was a teenager. And so, that's entertaining.
Definitely. Me too. But we were on this show championing No Gold Teeth when it came out. Championing because Aquamarine when it came out. Strangers when it came out. I was like, yo, these are heavy. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like everything on the album is all the way up to those standards. I think those are some of the best songs on the album. And maybe it's one of those neck and wrist things too, where it's like I heard a lot of my favorite songs well before the album dropped, and it wasn't like there was anything on the album that exceeded what I had already heard. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. I feel like, how about this? If he just would have dropped Strangers and Because, and you never heard No Gold Teeth or Aquamarine, you would feel totally differently about this project.
And I said that. I said that when he put out No Gold. I said, I hope he stops putting them out.
No, listen.
I said that.
I don't care what you say, Mike. No Gold Teeth and Aquamarine,
they're two of the best songs
this year. DRILLMATIC. They're literally better than every 30 songs that are on DRILLMATIC. Aquamarine and No Gold Teeth are better than everything on DRILLMATIC.
I'm with that.
Everything.
I'm with that.
Hold on. So I'm going to go back to my guy Guru on Moment of Truth, who said, sometimes I kick a freestyle that sounds better than the next man's whole album. That's who Black Thought is. Black Thought is the type of guy. Let me finish this. He can deliver on the level. It's like, no, you can make 30 good songs. His 13 songs are better than your 30 good songs. And that's exactly what happened today. This is better than Shady Noir's album. This is better than Ransom's album.
Yeah.
It's probably going to play for people better than the Fear of Time album, Mike. And you know what that makes That makes this the album of the year so far. There's no cracks in this album. There's no flaws production-wise, rhyme-wise, guest appearance-wise. If the best thing that you got for me is you're telling me that I wasn't entertained,
this is what I'm gonna say to you.
Game and Megan's album are not album of the year.
And you said this about Game's album. How many great songs do I see on here? The great songs I see on here: No Gold Teeth, Aquamarine.
Yep.
Strangers.
I think Belize with Doom is great. Belize with Doom.
Okay.
The Darkest Part with Ray.
I need some more listens with them. Because again, it didn't sit with me like when I first heard No Gold Teeth and when I heard Aquamarine and even because I think I was higher on Because than you were. It was like, yeah, those hit immediately. I didn't really feel that way about the other ones. I think they're good records. But
no, I can respect that, Mike. But here's the reality, Mike. Okay, so let's say we just go. This is what I mean about this stretch of songs. The Darkest Part, No Gold Teeth, Because, Belize, and Aquamarine. Mike, those five songs, those are 5 of the best 30 rap songs this year. They're on one project. That's the album of the year. You feel what I'm saying? No other project can say that I got 5 of the best 30 tracks this year on one album. Che can't say that. Ransom can't say that. Game can't say that after dropping 30 tracks. Black Thought is saying that, dropping 5 out of 12. Those are 5 of the best 30 rap songs this year. Period. You're not going to, and Mike, if you feel differently, since we're going to pull up on Monday, and this is the fun thing about Monday, we have more time to audit the music and to kind of circle around on the review. So we're going to have more time to listen to Thought, listen to Megan, and listen to Game. But if you can find me an album that has 5 songs, like those songs that I just named, I'm going to give them some consideration for album of the year. But I guarantee you, if you can find an album like that, it doesn't have 12 songs on it. And that makes Thought's album the album of the year. And that includes No Fear of Time, because here's my thing with No Fear of Time. I think the production is slightly better. The best 5 songs on Thought's album are better than the best 5 songs on No Fear of Time. Aquamarine and No Gold Teeth is better than everything on No Fear of Time, too. Maybe Yonders?
I don't think No Gold Teeth's better than everything on there. You know, I don't know, man. This is the thing, Coop. I just don't feel it in my gut that this is album of the year. It just doesn't feel right to me to say.
Well, that's because KD3 is on the way. I tried to tell you KD3 was going to be album of the year anyway. You're feeling that way.
No, but this is the thing, Coop. I even predicted this to be album of the year, so you would think that I would be going along with you.
I'm disappointed in you. I can't even.
You would think that I'd be going along with you.
When I texted you this morning, and we've kind of like, I've been busy today, and you've been doing your thing too, but when you didn't text me at any point with any Black Thought notes, that's when I knew what was up. I was like, this motherfucker been running around calling this shit the album of the year, and now he's about to pull this shit when we pull up on live. Yeah. No, Mike, it's the album of the year. According, if
you think I was right, I don't think I was.
If the people help us decide, and they have told us that No Fear of Time is not the album of the year, because I agree with you. I do prefer No Fear of Time to this, because I feel like in 10 years it's going to push the culture more forward, stylistically.
Well, if the people pick it, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's just my opinion anyway. I'm just telling you, I don't feel like it is, and I predicted this, and I
tell you what I thought No Fear of Time was potentially? I thought it potentially was DRILLMATIC. It was that album we got our hands on that nobody else had heard yet, that people didn't really realize how great it was. And I still think that it's that. But based on what the people have been telling us, this is the album that checks all the boxes. It's cheat codes, Mike. Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. Hold on. How about this? Do you know, you already know this. It's better than the Ransom and than the Che, isn't it?
It is.
So that immediately makes it number 2 on a bad day for you. So that means it's pretty fucking great.
It's close. I think, man, I was expecting it to be better than No Fear of Time, and in my heart, I don't think it is. That's it. You know what I mean? That's where I'm coming from.
I don't think it is either, but that's only because I think that, Brock Marciano's about to drop.
Yeah, that's happening.
KD3 is on the way. You picked this as album of the year. I picked KD3.
Yeah.
So here's what I will tell you. This album isn't breathtaking enough that I am willing to pivot off of KD3. I do think KD3 is going to be better than
You shouldn't feel like you got to pivot off of KD3.
This isn't a breathtaking classic, but you want to know what it is? It's 4.75 and album of the year so far, based on what the people have to say.
I feel like this could be prisoner of the moment stuff.
On Monday, let's pull it up and audit it properly. But I'm going to tell you what it really is. I cannot give this album less than a 4.5. I have no reason to, and neither do you.
No, you're right.
Mike,
I guess maybe my expectations
do you know how many times we pulled up here and pulled up a 4.5? Not often, and you sound so unexcited and so unbothered by it. It's like, yeah, it's a 4.5. It's like, nigga, we hand out 4.5s in about 2.5 years, about 10 times. So about 2 to 3 times a year, somebody's going to get a 4.5, and you're like, and it's like, that's not cool that you're treating Thought that way, kind of.
No, man, like I said, man, for me, when I hear things like Aquamarine,
it's a 4.75.
When I hear things like Aquamarine, there's a standard that's been set. And even when I listen to the album, I'm like, was I tripping? And then I listen to the album, and then I hear from Belize. Doesn't it come after Belize?
Before.
No. It's right after Belize. So I hear Belize. I like Belize. And then Aquamarine comes on. That shit opens up everything. And I'm like, for an album that is classic, or I don't even want to go there, but really great or really good, there shouldn't be a song on there that is just that much better than everything else on here. And I guess that's what's clouding my judgment. Born King with the super chat says, Nas is known for pulling the best out of Ray too. They're known for pulling the best out of each other. Pause.
Okay, so first of all, listen to what I'm about to say again about Raekwon. How many guys got multiple guest appearances with Black Thought and Nas other than Ray? How many guys can say that I've been on I've been on record with Nas 3 times and been on record with Black Thought 3 times. You know how many guys can say that? Ray. Ray's the only guy can say that. That's why I keep telling you when you're talking about it, it's
and
like
shared albums with Ghost. So yeah.
So when I be like, he's right outside the top 10, and you're like, I'm not sure about that, Coop. It's like, are you sure about what you're talking about? Because apparently,
Ray over Redman
and Ghost seem to think that this guy can rap next to them.
You put Ray over Redman?
Yes, I told you I have Ray literally right ahead of Redman. That's the person I have him right in front of. It literally goes Raekwon 11, Redman 12. Yeah, it goes like that.
Jay Short says both another Danger Mouse and Stream album coming soon.
It goes Black Thought 10, Raekwon 11, Redman 12. Ghostface is like 8 on that list. That's what I'm saying. Nas is 1 on that list. Now it is funny how Nas and Ghostface, Black Thought, seem to think this about Raekwon, but these niggas outside be talking differently. I'm gonna trust Ray and Ghost and Thought.
LP says 4 out of 11 great songs is better than 4 out of 30 songs, Mike.
It's actually like, how about this? There's, for me, let's just break this album down. No, let's break this album down like song for song right quick. And and this is what I mean. I'm happy that we're doing a Monday show because all the things that we don't have time to do now, we get to audit and play behind. Even the stuff that you say on the thought that you don't feel, it's like some of the stuff that you're not feeling. It's like, well, I want to be able to pull it up and be like, yo, Mike, you don't feel that? Are you sure?
Well, I want to be able to have a weekend to listen to it too, because I think that's the other part. Like today, there was a lot of music to listen to, and I think thought could have kind of got caught up in that.
Yeah, no, we're both getting overloaded. That's why the Monday show on Patreon is going to be good. But if you're telling me that The Darkest Part, No Gold Teeth, Because, Belize, Aquamarine, and Strangers, oh yeah. Like, go show me the rap album and got that shit on it.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, all of them songs sound the same, Coop. Grove Dover says, Coop is overrating consistency. Consistency can be boring in a certain circumstance.
I'm overrating consistency. You mean the people that show up and do their job all the time don't deserve to be considered highly?
Antonio says, I'll be playing this. He said, I'll be playing this more than anything until KD3. Jay Short says, Mike, the Hot Boys are my favorite group of all time. Entertaining as heck. Not in the top 20 of groups.
Okay.
Jordan House says,
Redman is better.
Jordan House said, go ahead. My bad.
No, all these people saying Redman is better than Raekwon. Show me the purple tape and show me the Iron Man.
Jordan House says, did y'all get a chance to see the video for Deja Vu off the Rock Marciano Alchemist project? I saw somebody emailed that to us. I think it was Ray Rims. Got to check that out. It's just so much music out here right now. We're definitely going to get to it.
That's supposed to drop August 25th, Mike. That's the problem.
August 25th?
That's the sleeper record. Here's what we have. This is what I mean. No, is this Black Thought album of the year? Right now, it's like, but it's like we got KD3.
Yeah.
Gibb might drop. Cole might drop. We know JID is dropping. That's another sneaker move right there. JID out here snapping.
Yeah.
JID out here snapping.
We got to talk about his record too. Wednesday.
This shit snapping. Well, I told you, JID out here snapping.
Clayton is asleep says that bridge is the beat to Strangers. Is so funky. Yeah.
It is. I agree.
All right, so we're going.
What are we giving? Hold on. So what are we giving the game album? What's the rating?
We said 4.25. And this
we're giving the thought.
I need to listen more.
Are you cool with a 4.5?
I'm cool with that.
Pull up on Monday. Yeah. How about this? We're tentatively gonna. You want to know what? This will be a cool thing that we get to do on our Monday show. Is that we can start auditing our Friday ratings.
Yeah.
It's like we pulling up games 4.25. Thoughts of 4.5. We got the weekend. We can let it bubble. We can pull back up with the music. Because I'm telling you, Mike, I want you to play the 5 best songs on DRILLMATIC on Monday.
I will. I mean, I'm going to have a whole weekend.
We'll play the 5 best songs on Thoughts album. I think you're in trouble.
Yeah. I'm going to have a whole weekend to listen. Let's get to our sponsor and get up out of here. Because we had a great show. But
we did. People been here the whole time. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting us, been in this chat the whole time.
Shout out to everybody, man. It's been a real crowded group today, but we got to the super chats.
No, I appreciate this from when there'd be like 62 people in the room and you and me be texting each other. It'd be like, hey, Mike, we got 62 people in the room. We popping.
Right. Relax and Relief CBD, promo code A2HH, get 10% off. Go ahead and tell them about the needs for CBD, Coop, for the people out there.
Well, first of all, I want to piggyback on what I was saying on Wednesday about Lennox getting me my
He's bringing the samples Monday.
He's actually promised the samples, and so what I want to let you know first is that Relax and Relief CBD actually delivers when they say that they're going to deliver. But this is something that we picked up. I know it's easy for people to be like, "Oh, it's a hip hop podcast. They're doing a CBD promo." It's like anybody that's actually been watching the show knows that somebody that I encourage, like holistic therapy in general, mental health, mental wellness. I personally suffer from some like anxiety issues, and quite frankly, just not putting up with people's bullshit on any sort of level. And so this is actually like a product that helps me kind of alleviate some of the mental health and mental wellness issues that I have. I speak to it with candor the way that I do, Mike, because so many Black men, it appears, are embarrassed these days about needing help in various ways. I'm not one of those people. This is something that can potentially help those that have real problems and real issues and help you get through your day and like feel better. And it's not always just like a mental health thing. Sometimes it's a physical thing. Like, Mike, I have a reoccurring knee issue. I have a back issue from when I was a teenager from a bad car accident that I was in. There are blisters on my feet right now. Like, these things help alleviate pain too, so that you can function and make it through the next day and make it to the next event. I mean, Mike, I have to work tomorrow. I have a private event for a business that I'm consulting with a dear friend who we both know. Shout out to Sequoia and High Spirits Bartending. If you're going to be in the city tomorrow, pull up with us and find out where. But, Mike, I'm a hustler. I'm on the move and I'm on the go. I snap a lot. This helps with my anxiety. This helps with my physical. Lennox better have my samples before I snap on him too. And that's where we at with it. But it's really a good and a healthy thing. And we're actually going to be doing some events coming forward in the future. So actually, y'all stay tuned. We're actually going to be putting some things together.
And we're going to get y'all the link in the community section for Monday. So stay tuned with that. And enjoy y'all weekend. Great show. And go listen to that Black Slim Shady again, man. You might have a different outlook.
And I promise, hold on, Mike, before we go, I promise everybody, at some point tomorrow, you're going to see a picture or a video or some sort of synopsis where you will know that Mike and I live in the same city and hang out around the same people.
Yeah.
There's going to be pictures tomorrow, video, because we're going to be outside tomorrow. For all of y'all that be tripping and acting like Mike don't be outside, Mike's going to be outside tomorrow.
I be outside all the time. Mike just be low key. I be in the corner.
Well, you don't be running into rappers, getting yourself in problematic situations. That's just my black ass, Mike. That's just me that happens to. And when I mean that only happens to me, people have been telling me this my whole life. That only happens to you. Nobody runs into these guys except for you. Like, literally, I run into these people. They be like, Coop, that only happens to you. And it's like, well, that's what I'm supposed to be doing according to hip-hop, because I literally have been running into these guys since I was about 15, 16 years old. I got Ja Rule stories, Nelly stories, Memphis Bleak stories, Lil C stories, cannabis stories. I think I just told a 21 Savage. Mike, how many stories you want? I got some NFL player stories. Remember Pac-Man Jones? I got some Pac-Man stories.
We gotta go.
Michael Jordan, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, Peter Piper, Pick Up Peppers. Right, I got everybody.
So yeah, we'll have it in the community section as far as that link, and we're gonna holler at y'all.